Times, Trump said, quote, Hitler did some good things. Correspondent Cammie McCormick.
And Kelly's description of Trump?
It certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, for sure.
Kamala Harris in Washington today seized on the comments.
It is deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and hundreds of thousands of Americans.
Early voting continuing to set records across the country. In Georgia, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger says,
with just under 2 weeks until the election, an astounding 26.8% of all active voters have already participated.
And Wisconsin began its early voting earlier today. Gas prices are falling slowly across most of the nation, the U.S. producing more oil than ever, and worldwide, there's an expectation production is exceeding demand, according to Tom Kloza with the Oil Price Information Service.
Everyone looking at 2025 probably concludes that we're going to have supply dwarfing demand by 1 million or 1.5 million barrels a day. And that means inventories accumulate, and that means prices tend to be very, very weak.
Worldwide, prices have slipped more than 15% in the past year to around $72 a barrel. WTIC News Time is 3:04. And from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network, it's road work this Wednesday for us in Windsor Locks on the northbound side of 91. The usual area there between 42 and 44. The two right lanes out and for about another hour or so. 91 southbound in Meriden, 19 to 17 is right lane work. We have delays along the 95 corridor out of Westport. It looks the Sherwood Island connector there from 18 up to Bridgeport and 27. And back up this way in East Hartford, still some road work to be found on Route 2 westbound side between 5A and 2W in the left lane. Here is meteorologist Jason Catarino with the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
Well, the rest of today, partly sunny and warm, breezy this afternoon, that high of 78. Mild tonight with increasing clouds, breezy with the stray shower overnight, the low down to 56. Then for our Thursday, breezy and not as warm. The clouds will give way to some sunshine. The high of 67, made to feel cooler with that north-northwest wind cranking along at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Now Friday will be cooler but sunny and less windy. The high of 62, a pleasant day to round out the week. Then Saturday, partly sunny, breezy in the afternoon. Can't rule out a shower. The high of 63 on Saturday. Sunday will be mostly sunny and cooler. The high of 57 will feel quite cool with a busy west-northwest wind. Then Monday to kick off the new week, mostly sunny, a very cool day with the high only 55 on Monday. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, 76 sunny skies right now in Hartford. Markets continue to trend in the red this afternoon. The Dow's off 430 points. NASDAQ's down 339, S&P down 63. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. It's 3:06. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Don Cusson here. Fall is a great time to get behind the wheel and head out for some seasonal driving. With leaves on the road and rain or snow falling, driving can be hazardous. Is your car ready? Cusson Auto features Cooper and Continental tires, helping to ensure a comfortable and safe driving experience, no matter the season. Let Cusson Auto handle your next oil change, knowing our team will inspect your vehicle for all your service needs. After all, we'll do it right or not at all. Call 860-289-2389 or visit CussonAutomotive.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Take a moment and think of
1 minute.
what you wanted to do recently,
Thank you,
but
sir.
you didn't because your foot, leg, or back pain got in the way. Hi, this is Mike with the Good Feet Store. Well, you're not alone. We hear it all the time. Folks are fed up with living with pain that's keeping them from doing what they love, and they look to us at the Good Feet Store for a solution. And that's why we're here, to help get you back out there. Good Feet Arch Supports, which you can only get at the Good Feet Store, are designed to alleviate and even eliminate foot, knee, hip, and back pain. Plus, they provide improved balance, more comfort, and, well, just a better life. We'd like to help you turn your pain into possibilities with a free fitting at the Good Feet Store. You'll be personally fit by an arch support specialist, and you'll get to walk around and see how Good Feet Arch Supports feel. Then you can decide if
What's
they're
up,
right
Craig?
for you. For over 30 years,
Hinton.
helping people get back to doing the things they love without their feet getting in the way. Stop in today at the Good Feet Store in Avon, across from Whole Foods, or visit goodfeet.com.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
This is second shot at the, I don't know, the biggest title in the world. And you're going to be swapping punches with the most dangerous fighter in the world. And just in case, your brain ain't working so good, all this happens pretty soon. So I say, for God's sake, why don't you stand up and fight this guy hard like you done before? That was beautiful. This guy just don't want to win, He wants to bury you. He wants to humiliate you. He wants to prove to the whole world that there was nothing but some kind of a freak the first time. That he said you're a one-time lucky bum.
Yeah! They think you're a bum, Rock. They think you're a bum. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC on this October the 23rd, 2024. They think you're a bum, Rock. And they're going to come at you with everything. Even an Atlantic article from 4 years ago. They've got nothing on you, Rock. They're going to do anything and everything they can. This is, I'm sorry. I am absolutely sorry that I have to talk about this today. And I'm not, you know what? I'm not going to do any defense of Donald Trump as the spies / fans / libercrats would normally say. He's going to get on the air and he's going to defend him. Nope. Not going to bother. There's nothing to defend. Here's why. If you haven't heard the story, if you're wondering, what am I talking about? What you talking about, Reese? Here's what we're talking about. A guy by the name of Jeffrey Goldberg, who BS'd all of us that's when he said that Donald Trump called veterans suckers and losers for being in the military and dying for nothing, turned out to be a flat-out hoax. This guy comes up with another story, 4 years old, that says that he thought a soldier who had been killed in Fort Hood, murdered, that he said something absolutely disparaging about paying for the funeral of that woman, a Mexican woman. And then another story comes out about his chief of staff, Kelly, saying that Donald Trump admired some things about Hitler. Hitler did some good things. The usual nonsense. Let me just start by saying this so that we can all get a grip, especially those who automatically believe the story. Did you hear what Trump said? First of all, let's reframe that. Nobody heard what Trump said according to this story. No one. The people who say that he said it don't exist at all. And Mark Kelly, who's saying that 4 years ago, like really, you had all of this time to tell people about it. You could have said this at the beginning of the campaign. You wait until the 11th hour to talk this nonsense now? Please knock it off. But let's talk about the Atlantic piece by Jeffrey Goldberg. Hear me out. In what world, at any time, from 2015, since the coming down the golden escalator for Donald Trump, at what time between then and now has anyone been maligned about speaking out against Donald Trump? At what time was anyone not treated like a hero, lifted on the collective shoulders of the news media, pundits alike, for coming out against Donald Trump? Want an example? Let me give you one. Omarosa. Anyone remember her from The Apprentice? Didn't she join the administration when she was pretty much sent to the door? Get up out of here, you're a loser. Poof. What did Omarosa do? She then wrote a book slamming Donald Trump, even calling him a racist, the most hated woman on television. When she joined the Trump administration, she was maligned, besmirched, called anything and everything, a witch, the B word, and worse. Sellout. Auntie Tom, everything. She comes out with a book bashing Donald Trump. They sang her praises. Every media outlet wanted her on the show. Didn't want anything to do with her when she joined the campaign, when she joined the administration. She's bashing Trump. Get in here, woman. What were we doing? Oh, remember when we wouldn't even invite you to places? Get on over here. What were we thinking? You're on the right side of history. Every person in the world who's ever bashed Trump has been lauded as a hero. There are no death threats behind it. They're protected. And now this Jeffrey Goldberg writes an article with a bunch of unnamed sources, people who don't want to be identified. Even Mike Pence, who, remember, according to everybody else on January 6th, got the worst death threat of them all. He didn't seem to care how vocal he was. Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, used to be Republican standard bearers. They didn't seem to have a problem coming out against Trump. What's all the mystery about? What's all the fear about? Unnamed sources say Donald Trump said this and that. Why can't they reveal themselves? Why throw a stone and hide your hand? I'll tell you why. Come on, folks. Even you Libercrats know. They don't exist. They don't have to exist. We've gotten to the point, ladies and gentlemen, where we're writing news of the world headlines for Donald Trump. At this point, the news media will jump on anything at this point to scold Donald Trump. Right now, an 83-year-old woman could come out of the woodwork and say she's pregnant with Donald Trump's baby, and they'd entertain it. They do it. It doesn't matter what the story is. There is someone sitting by the news desk, by the phone, waiting for it to ring. And as soon as it does, they pick it up and they go, "What you got on Trump?" I was calling about a story in Duluth about our clean water. So you got nothing on Trump? Is there any way we could blame this on Trump? No, I don't have anything on Trump. Okay, well, can you call back after the election? Hey, we've got a problem down here. There's been a mysterious killer that's been killing women who work in the nursing home. Yeah, do you think Trump might be one of the people who might be a suspect? No, we don't believe Trump is a... Okay, well, can you call us back after the election? They don't care. Every story is about Trump. Every news outlet, no matter where you look, I don't care who you are, where you've been. Everybody is now chipping in. It's on All Points Bulletin, APB, out on Trump. They know they're losing. They know Kamala Harris can't win. They've taken her off the campaign trail. Sorry, sweetheart. Do me a favor. Go home. We got this. No. Nobody likes you. No one likes you. No one's ever liked you. We never liked you. So just sit at home. No. Hang out with Doug. Have as many Doritos as you want. Okay? We're going to save this campaign. The world has gone off it's gone off the rails. The whole world has gone off the rails. And it's plain as day. They're doing it right in front of your face. This was an article in The Atlantic, by the way. This Jeffrey Goldberg guy was in The Atlantic. Here is a woman by the name of Laureen Powell. Laureen Powell. She bought The Atlantic magazine. She was asked, why did she buy The Atlantic magazine? And she said this, incidentally, sitting next to her as she explains why she bought The Atlantic magazine, sitting to her right, less than 2 feet away, is Kamala Harris.
It was pretty obvious to me that we could build, we build out in a very cross-disciplinary way our work in capital investing and policy and philanthropy, and we could do this work forever and ever, and we could have the narrative overtaken by someone who has a lot of power, who's completely contrary to us, and we could never get to the place where we think we're part of a more just and equal society. And so it was obvious that if we could be part of the creation of cultural narrative, that would enhance and amplify all the work that we're doing.
Yeah. So if that was confusing to understand, and it was, what she's saying is we bought The Atlantic so that we can control the narrative by the media, and we can inform everyone what we want them to be informed about. We will counter the narrative. We will make them the social norm that we see in our future. That's why she bought The Atlantic. While she sits next to Kamala Harris, a Kamala Harris donor. And here, Jeffrey Goldberg writes a piece, Donald Trump admired Hitler. Hitler did some good things. They're running out of options. They're running out of ideas. They've sent Kamala Harris home. We're going to put out Eminem. We're going to put out Barack Obama. We're going to put out Stevie Wonder. We're going to bring out all the celebrities. Bradley Winford from the West Wing. Kamala, you can't do this anymore. No one likes you. We need them to vote for the idea of you, not you. No one likes you. They then say this, and I got an idea after I heard this. This is, again, Laureen Powell, the narrator says something to her about Hillary Clinton, but she asks her a very important question.
As Hillary Clinton talked about today, is telling the story, getting the content out there.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So these are early days for us, but that's the idea behind it. We want to inspire the kind of stories that we'd like to see told.
Do you ever?
Yeah, just the stories we want to see told. And here was the question.
Ever see you buying something bigger, like the New York Times, for example?
Is it for sale?
It could be for you.
By the way, if the New York Times is ever up for sales, I've got an idea. I know just the guy to buy it. Elon Musk, anybody? Elon Musk, anybody? He's just throwing money around. Imagine this. The New York Times, the paper of record, the newspaper that is used in every newsroom, Good Morning America, CBS Morning News, The Today Show. Every morning news outlet picks up the New York Times. They literally do their programming based upon that newspaper, the Wall Street Journal, and USA Today. Imagine if Elon Musk were to buy the New York Times. Imagine. And change the trajectory of its reporting. They'd never use it again. It's the only way you're going to get. How else are you going to get real news? How else? Guys like Elon Musk are going to have to buy it. He bought X. Look what he changed there. It's just got to happen. But the Atlantic, no, everyone knows what the Atlantic did here. Nobody is an idiot. This is it's so blatant and so dumb, so pathetic. Bob says, every Trump story is negative about him, every single story. And Miss Harris is nowhere, I guarantee, over the next week. We're going to hear damning story about Mr. Trump, child sex. Yeah, exactly. Child sex victim, Trump rape. Yeah, exactly. Paid me for everything. It's all going to be the same thing. They don't have a candidate that they can. Remember, they've thrown everything up against the wall with Kamala Harris. Oh, she doesn't have any policy, so they inundate her website with policy. Everyone criticizes it. They back away. They brought out Mark Cuban. This is what makes it. This makes me laugh. So they brought out Mark Cuban to tout her economic plan and not her because she can't explain it and Mark Cuban can. Can you believe that? Because Mark Cuban can make the case for her that she can't. They don't have her out there on the stump talking about her economic plan. And Mark Cuban's like, he has nothing to lose. He's a billionaire. Right? What's going to happen to him? Nothing. It's damning for her. So the fact that you have to bring out Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, and Eminem, and boy, no offense, Eminem, I like you as a rapper. I like you as an entertainer. Love the movie 8 Mile. But did you hear Eminem's speech last night? Did you hear what Eminem had to say? Well, if you missed it, don't worry about it, because it was nothing. It was Eminem going out there to say the most nonpartisan thing ever. He went out there and he says, I believe that you should vote in your hearts, go out there and vote. He never says go vote for Kamala Harris. He says that he believes that Kamala Harris is good for the country. He gave his opinion, didn't crap on anybody else, and just said, to explain this to you further, I bring out Barack Obama, and bounced. That's all Eminem did. You want to know why? It's real simple. Eminem knows his core base is supporting Donald Trump, and that's young black men. Overwhelmingly. He knows he's running into a what do you call it? A landmine if he pushes Kamala too hard. If he goes on the stump for her too hard, if he says too much, he has got a real uphill battle getting young black men back because it's overwhelmingly clear that young black men are supporting Kamala Harris. On tomorrow's show, I got to clean up this video, but stay tuned for it. But it is a video of this guy who I think is an Arab guy who owns a bodega, And he's interviewing young black men as they come in to buy their groceries, and he's just asking them, Kamala or Trump? And these young black men are screaming, Trump, 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 and cursing down Kamala Harris. And the reasons why, you would think that every one of them had been at a Trump rally. It's insane. I'll have the video for you tomorrow. I got to clean it up. But let's take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views, and, of course, your phone calls. So stick around. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. The days are shorter and the temperature is starting to drop. Remember, the local weather information you need is right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. Accurate local weather information with Bob Cox and the WTIC weather team. Weekday mornings and afternoons on the 8th and around the clock. The local fall weather information
you got it, Bob.
you need is on WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen on your radio, your smart speaker, or on the free Odyssey app.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You love your city, but let's be honest, the commute, not so much. That's where the free Odyssey app can help. Download the app and follow your local news station so you can get the latest traffic reports or find if your train is on time before you walk out your door. Knowing all this gives you time to think about the essential things like, do I have time to get coffee? Download the free Odyssey app and search your local news station. That's AUDACY.
Did you know that 9 out of 10 customers would recommend AAA insurance to a friend? 9 out of 10 people don't even like baseball. And that's America's pastime. It has an entire Hall of Fame that people visit just because they love baseball that much. Does that mean we should have a Hall of Fame? You can't frame legendary service. Legendary service and superior coverage from AAA Insurance. Something 9 out of 10 of our customers would recommend. Find out why at AAA.com/insurance and get a quote today. Based on a 2023 customer survey, insurance provided by CSAA Insurance Exchange.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We have sunny skies. It's 75 degrees. Red flag warnings up across Connecticut due to the high fire danger brought on by the bone dry and windy conditions. Crews remain at the scene of that fire on Lamentation Mountain in Berlin. Crews attempting to fight that fire. They are fighting it by land and now by air. Chinook helicopter from the Connecticut National Guard is on scene. Crews now estimate the fire at about 87 acres. They say that 125 acre number was an overestimate earlier. An official with the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection says the fire is about 75% contained, but they could be there for weeks working on hotspots. While all this is going on, the memory of Wethersfield firefighter Robert Sharkovich is on the minds of those at the scene and firefighters across the state. He died when the UTV he and 3 others were in crashed as they responded to the fire on Tuesday. Flags are being flown at half-staff across the state per order of the governor. Sharkovich was a retired Hartford firefighter, spent a long career there, also worked for the Wethersfield School District. Eversource officials say they're keeping an eye on things out there as well. There are several high-voltage lines not far from the actual fire scene. The utility says it has the capability to redirect power should that need arise. A former school employee in the Ram District in Hebron is facing larceny charges. State police say Christine Vardanian allegedly stole over $40,000 for her personal use. She's free on bond, due in court November 4th. And a suspect has been arrested in connection with a 1989 cold case abduction in Danbury. 53-year-old David Coffey has been identified as a suspect and is now charged with first-degree kidnapping. Shohei Ohtani's 50th home run ball was sold at auction for nearly $4.4 million. That's a record high price, not just for a baseball, but for any ball in any sport. Ohtani became the first player in baseball history to hit 50 homers and steal 50 bases this season. The Dodgers star hit his second of 3 homers against the Marlins. The auctioneer, in a statement today, Said bids came in from around the world. There's no information on the winning bidder. No information on the winning bidder, that is, that was disclosed. WTIC News Time 3:32. Let's check the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
For the rest of the afternoon, partly sunny and warm, breezy this afternoon with a high of 78. Mild tonight with increasing clouds. It'll be breezy with a stray shower overnight, the low down to 56. Then on our Thursday, it'll be breezy, not as warm. The clouds will give way to some sunshine, that high of 67 with a busy north-northwest wind of 10 to 20 miles an hour. It'll feel cool. Friday, sunny, cooler, but less wind, the high of 62. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Checking Wall Street, the Dow down 447 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Radio has often been said to be theater of the mind, and with good reason. During the Depression years, families would gather around their radio to hear comedy, news, sports, music, and a new form of entertainment, the radio drama. The WTIC Playhouse went on the air in 1931 under the direction of Guy Hedlund. Guy put together a company of local actors who would work for WTIC part-time in addition to their other area productions. Fun fact, one of the cast, Jan Miner, went on to be Madge the manicurist in Palmolive TV ads. Dramatic writing for radio was an art. You had to blend voices, music, and sound effects into a feast for the imagination. The series continued for about 10 years. In later years, it was called the Guy Hedlund Players. Several episodes were picked up for broadcast on the NBC network of radio stations.
Now listen, a minute ago you swore up and down we'd stay at home tonight.
Oh, did I?
You certainly did.
Oh, but darling, I didn't say whose home we'd spend it at.
Tom Shattuck here. It was about 2 years ago when I started Awaken 180 Weight Loss. It took me just a matter of months to hit my goal, down 80 pounds. I had been wearing size 48 pants, and by the time I finished my weight loss, I was fitting into size 38 pants. On day one, I told my coach I wanted to be able to take really long walks and maybe even jog again. And all that has happened. Not only that, but now I'm educated on how to eat right, but still enjoy food. And that's more important this season than ever. Halloween candy, Thanksgiving feasts, holiday parties these next few months. This all makes it easy to gain weight, but now I'm ready for it. There's a healthy way to do it all, and that's what I'm doing. I can't say enough about the ways Awaken 180 Weight Loss has changed my life. It's improved my marriage to the lovely Alice and allowed me to create memories with my kids through activities that I could never have done 2 years ago. My journey started with a phone consultation a couple of years ago. Start your journey today by calling 844-346-1800 or go to awaken180weightloss.com.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 860-981-0063 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 860-981-0063. That's 860-981-0063 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 860-981-0063, 860-981-0063, or go to freedomcare.com.
1 minute. Be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navient's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the adjunct.
What's up, everybody? It's Reese On The Radio, Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah, we're back at Reese on the Radio News Talk 1080 WTIC. Little footballist back in the day. Here's Eminem at the rally for Kamala Harris, the one that they don't invite her to anymore. It's a party for her. You know, what was that old saying? It's like, you so ugly they don't invite you to your own party. Kamala Harris no longer invited to her own party. Now they are televising speeches for her, people stumping for her where she is nowhere to be found. Eminem.
Detroit. What up, though? So look, I wrote down a few things I wanted to say. I love you too. Thank you. I'm here tonight for a couple of important reasons. As most of you know, the city of Detroit and the whole state of Michigan mean a lot to me. And going into this election, the spotlight is on us more than ever, and I think it's important to use your voice. So I'm encouraging everybody to get out and vote, please. I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions. And I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known. I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld.
See the little nudge to his fans? Please don't ostracize me. I know you don't like this woman, but you understand I got to be up here, okay? You understand? You know, I may have flown on a plane and gone to an island. No, I'm kidding.
And here to tell you much more about that, President Barack Obama.
So there you go. I mean, all in all, about a minute and 17 seconds. He says nothing on behalf of Kamala Harris. That's it. That's all it is. So I understand, you know, again, you got to be there. Hint, hint, nod, nod. To the phones we go. 860-522-WTIC. Joe's in New Hampshire. How you doing, Joe?
Hi, Reese.
I see the stock market crumbling.
Well, you know what it's all about, Reese? The summit out in Moscow.
Yep.
Monday's still coming, but everything was ready to be announced and fly. But all these new countries that want to jump on board, like 30 of them,
I think
don't have any goals.
Yeah, it's 30. Yeah, I think it's another 30 of them. I read another report on it yesterday. You know what's interesting about this, Joe, about BRICS, we're talking about just a few nations right now. The nations that are involved with BRIC, it's 42%. Those nations alone are 42% of all economic wealth in this in the world. 42%.
Well, what I was trying to say is that the countries you pointed out, the wealth factor of the countries that are on board and ready to go, the new countries have little or no gold or silver to back them up, but they want to jump on to go along for the ride. Sounds a bit like what's going on in our country, right?
Yeah, but there's some hesitance. There's some hesitance on the part of a couple of people who are already in BRICS. Like Brazil is not fully on board. They've got some pushback there on the getting rid of the U.S. dollar or a dollar-based system. So, I mean, that's why I said I don't really want to – I don't go all feet in. I'm listening to this or watching this with bated breath. Every move that's being made, there's been some pushback on BRICS because I know what the end result is for them, at least for China and for Russia, is to not have a dollar-based – to get rid of the petrodollar in essence and to change the currency of the petrodollar. But there's a lot of problems with this because – many people do not want the push of the yen being the overall currency. That's where a lot of these countries have a problem.
Yeah, all these newer countries that are really being rejected and holding things up, Malaysia, Thailand, poor country, Turkey, they have no gold or silver. Right. They just want to jump on board. And the stronger members, China, in India and Russia, And Saudi Arabia has no opinion.
Right.
But they're not going to back these newer countries jumping on, and this could at least delay the implementation next Monday of the BRICS system. And that's what's going on right now.
Well, don't forget they've got the UEA, which is huge. But I think the biggest problem is the fact that Turkey wants to sort of double dip here, because Turkey is a part of NATO and they want to be a part of BRICS. That's, for them, that's not a good fit. And I think what they're trying to do is try to use their weight as a NATO ally, and I don't think that's going to work. I think they're just going to be left behind.
No, it's not going to work. But the market is reacting a bit to that, but mostly on the North Korean military getting ready to jump into the war with the Ukraine, and South Korea saying, well, if they're going to send their troops, we're sending our troops to Ukraine. And this is the world war that Trump is warning us about.
Exactly. You're 100% right. This could turn look, I don't expect it to get to a nuclear capability yet, but I do see a lot of carnage. And again, if North Korea's folks are already there, if South Korea gets involved, we're in a World War III situation once South Korea sends troops to Ukraine. That's it. That's where we are.
And we're obligated to protect South Korea.
Indeed.
100%. So there you go.
So I'm wondering what the strategy will be for Blinken, and that is talking South Korea into, because South Korea joins, that in essence becomes problematic for U.S. in general, or I don't. In fact, I almost feel like right now Blinken's got too much on his plate with now trying to get a ceasefire in Israel with Gaza, which doesn't look like that's going to happen either. He's going to fail all around with that. But now he's got another war he's got to deal with, and if South Korea gets involved, I don't think he's going to be able to implement any change there as well. But we'll see. We'll keep watching. Thank you, sir. Let's get
the market goes. UVix is on fire.
Yeah, I'm looking at, literally, I have it on my screen in front of me. That was the only one I saw in green. Let me get the white mic.
I got back in yesterday at 488. I got back in yesterday, 488, and I'm making a lot of money again, but I haven't sold it. I think it's got a lot more to go up again.
Yeah, it could. Let me get the white mic in Florida. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, so I'm going to kind of harken back to the beginning part of your show when Kamala Harris held her press conference and said, oh, Trump wants to be Hitler, and Trump has said complimentary things about Hitler.
Yes.
Of course there are complimentary things that could be said about Hitler. The man was Time Magazine's Man of the Year.
Good point.
Was praised as an economic genius because he brought Germany back from the worst economy in the world to be the strongest economy in the world.
New York Times. New York Times wrote that article.
If he was all bad, they wouldn't have welcomed him into Austria with cheers and flowers.
Good point.
So, of course, there were some things he did well, or he wouldn't run a country. Nobody's all bad except Stalin. It's ludicrous.
Bill Burr says that Stalin doesn't get the proper respect that he deserves.
You know, it speaks to the intellectual incuriosity of people.
Yeah.
That would even be a semi-effective attack strategy.
But you know
because
why?
You can learn something from anybody.
But
it's like when they say, it's like when they go after him for saying that Xi Jinping is a smart guy.
He's a smart guy, yes. And I got that audio too. I have that audio.
Well, of course he's smart. He runs a nation of over 1 billion people.
Yeah. He managed to get right. He managed to own more than 2/3 of the U.S. debt. I wouldn't call that guy an idiot.
No, they're not stupid, and like Putin's not stupid. It doesn't mean you love everything Putin does if you can say the guy's an effective leader.
Yeah.
If he's an effective leader, the Russian people love him.
Yeah, it's, again, I find every part of this ridiculous. But you know what, the part that drives me nuts in the beginning of this whole anger about Donald Trump saying good things about Hitler, the part that drives me nuts, you just said it, right? The intellectual dishonesty by these people who know that, as you just said, the New York Times raved about him. Neville Chamberlain raved about him. Time Magazine, Man of the Year. With all of those things in our history that they know to be true, the part that freaks me out is They just think that if you say Hitler, nuance means nothing, right? And that's all they're doing.
John F. Kennedy praised Hitler in his writings.
Did he?
JFK was in Germany when Hitler was leader, and he said they're going to say great things about this man. He's a great leader, a charismatic person. The people of his country love him. So, yeah, people are intellectually incurious.
Right.
And let's not forget that they had the best uniforms of World War II. Not even a stretch to say that.
They did. I never even heard that. That's the first time.
Do you know who designed the SS uniforms?
Please, I have a strange feeling I know this. I know I'm not going to be surprised when you say who it was.
Yeah, it's Hugo Boss.
I knew it. I had in my heart, and literally, I wanted to say that. That you're absolutely right, Hugo Boss.
They were excellent uniforms. I mean, from a design standpoint, that ish worked.
Interesting. White Mike, controversy. Listen, I swear to God, what I love about White Mike is like he finds the line and he tippy-toes right to the edge. God bless you, buddy. I appreciate you. Bob is in Middlefield. How you doing, Bob?
Hey, pretty good, Reese. Listen, we're talking about despots here, right?
Right.
We're talking about Hitler, Stalin. Well, you know, you missed out at the number one despot of all time. Guess. Guess who you think it is?
I'm going to go with Lenin.
No, it's a woman.
Oh, it's a woman.
Yeah.
Probably the only woman I can know that caused that much death and destruction. You must mean Hillary Clinton.
Well, Hillary's dream date, if you will.
Oh, Margaret Sanger.
Margaret Sanger. There you go.
That's right.
Now listen. I'm gonna go back and just read just a little bit of an expert called the Negro Project.
Oh, I know it.
1939. Now, the goal was to reduce the black population.
Mm-hmm.
She said this would be done through birth control, but she vocally supported forced sterilization and segregation of the unfit.
That's right.
She's a eugenist.
That's right.
And what she did, she supported the 1927 Supreme Court ruling of Buck versus Bell. Sanger campaigned hard for the success of her Negro Project, raised funding, and make it a reality. In a letter to her friend Clarence Gamble of Procter & Gamble in 1939, Sanger wrote, "We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population."
That's right.
And the minister is the man who can straighten it all out.
Hey.
That idea of whatever occurs to any of the more rebellious members. Sanger wanted Planned Parenthood to train black doctors and ministers to spread the unholy gospel of population control.
Let me stop you there, Bob. Let me stop you there, because there's a very important part of what you said. You said that they had to get the African-American clergy, the Negro clergy involved, right? Do you know who one of the first winners of the Margaret Sanger Award was?
Yeah, Martin Luther King Jr.
That's right, my friend. We got to take a break. We'll come back. More news and more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Life can be unpredictable at times, but you shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of someone else's negligence. If you've been in an accident or work-related injury and it's not your fault, you need a lawyer who knows how to get you the fair and just compensation. At Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED. And it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Natural disaster every year. Fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone, lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, so they're safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering radio incredible 50% off. Go to legacybox.com/value and save 50% when you digitize your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
More news and more views coming up in a bit. But while we're here, I want to give a big shout out and a happy birthday to a good friend of mine, buddy extraordinaire. And I can honestly say, I never thought that I could say this, that I have a friend who used to work for the FBI. I just want to give him some love. You may know him. Of course, he has been a guest on this program. And, of course, he has a book to sell, so we got to give him some love. That is none other than Greg Dillon, author of The Thin Blue Lie. Show him some love. Thin Blue Lie. You can find it, of course, at the, I think it's thinblueliebook.com. You can look it up. Just look up Thin Blue Lie. You can find it anywhere. Pick up that book. Show him some love. Let him pay an electric bill or something. I don't know. Help him out. That's my buddy. But it's his birthday today. Happy birthday to you. And I'll talk to you soon. Let's go to, you know what? I'm going to take Helen in West Hartford. Let's take Helen before we get to the break. How are you, Helen?
Hi. I'm fine. I have a special thing for you to do for me.
What's that?
If nobody can do it, you can. I've been trying to reach Ray Dunaway for exactly 3 weeks.
Okay.
And I need to get his phone number to speak with him about Christmas and wrapping paper and ribbon for the kids.
Okay. So you need to contact
need
Ray Dunaway.
To do it.
All right. Ray Dunaway, we need to get wrapping paper for, I'm assuming, kids' toys and kids' gifts for Christmas this year?
I have the wrapping paper, but I need to get Ray Dunaway to come and pick it up.
Oh, okay, so the other way around. So Ray Dunaway needs to come to you, Helen, in West Hartford to pick up some wrapping paper for the kids. So, you know what, Helen, we will take your information now. Roland will put you on hold. We'll get your info. And Ray Dunaway, if you can call up the station, we will get you in touch with Helen, and we will get the wrapping paper that you need so you can wrap up the toys and the gifts for the kids.
That would be absolutely supreme.
You know what? I appreciate you asking me to do that. Thank you for relying on me and putting that responsibility in my hand. That means a lot.
Okay.
Really do appreciate that. Thank you. Bye-bye. Look at that. Okay, I feel important now. I was kind of silly, but I'm a little, kind of misty. So the person who can do it is you. Thank you, Helen. When people say nice things about you, it makes you feel good about yourself. I don't know. Not that I ever feel bad about myself. It's just nice to have nice people say things. Bob says that Helen is a sweetheart. Is she? She sounds like a sweetheart. So there you go. Yeah, get in touch with us. We can get you in touch with Helen, and we can get that stuff popping. We'll get to Fred in Middletown when we come from the top of the break. Yeah, I might as well tell you now that the stupidest thing I read today is also about this story about Donald Trump and this poor young lady's funeral and that nonsense. You can read it. Go into reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. When we get back, we're going to talk about Johanna. We'll talk about her and her $13,000 oysters. But now let's get to our first check of the traffic with Mark Christopher and the BPS traffic.
We even got the Ray Dunaway music going.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah. There we go. The Ray Dunaway, the official Ray Dunaway morning show music.
You got it. Ray, you need to check her. Come on, give us a holler so we can get in touch with Helen.
522 WTIC.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Ray knows the number.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
He said it a few million times. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. And coming into downtown Hartford right now on the southbound side of I-91. Look for some delays now as you move down from East Windsor into Windsor. Got road work on the Dexter-Coppin Bridge in the left and left center lane, so you want to stay to the right there. Delays back to 45 behind that. Once you get around that, delays 34 down to 32A and B in Hartford. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. You are seeing delays again approaching 40 in Windsor Locks. Once again up to the Dexter-Coppin Bridge with right lane road work there. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound slows 46 into the tunnel. 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. 2 westbounds in great shape, Glastonbury into East Hartford. If you're traveling into Middletown, 9 northbound delays approaching Harbor Park to the Aragodi Bridge. 84 westbound Waterbury slowing 25 up to exit 22 on the Mixmaster. Heading into Danbury, 84 eastbound, some sluggish traffic 3 to 5. Again, a little slow by exit 9 in Newtown. And 91 in southbound moving well into New Haven. Southbound Parkway a little tight as you move toward the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound delays 46 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. Well, the rest of today, partly sunny and warm. It'll be breezy this afternoon, the high of 78. Mild tonight with increasing clouds, breezy with a stray shower, the low down to 56. On Thursday, breezy and not as warm. The clouds will give way to some sunshine. The high of 67, made to feel cooler with that busy north-northwest wind cranking along at 10 to 20 miles an hour throughout the day. Sunny, less windy, but cooler on Friday with the high of 62. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
4 o'clock, 75 degrees, partly sunny skies in Hartford. Red flag warning up for high fire danger today. There was a procession for Wethersfield firefighter Robert Sharkovich. Convoy of police and fire vehicles this afternoon escorted the 66-year-old's remains from the office of the chief medical examiner to the Farley Sullivan Funeral Home in Wethersfield. Sharkovich was killed in a UTV crash while helping to battle that fire on Lamentation Mountain in Berlin. Residents mourning the death. Linda Carvalho says everyone in town is feeling this loss.
We're like a family. It's a really nice community, and to lose somebody is just, heartbreaking for the family and the town and the other firefighters and police.
Audio from WFSB. Now, water's being dropped on that fire as crews continue to mourn the death of one of their own. WTIC's Dave Mager is out there.
Air support has arrived from the Connecticut National Guard. Crews are trying to secure the edges of this fire to keep it from spreading. There is the one fatality. 66-year-old Wethersfield volunteer firefighter Robert Sharkovich. He died in the rollover of a utility vehicle. Berlin Fire Chief John Masirio says his death won't deter the dozens of crew members still doing the job.
It's hard to keep a lot of the guys away after something like this. They want to finish the job. That's what they're there for, and they want to do it to honor those that we've lost.
The hope is breezy conditions won't cause the fire to spread. The state is telling residents to be aware that the airdrops could be noisy. In Berlin, Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Yeah, right now they say the fire has scorched about 87 acres. You remember the number previously was about 125, but they've scaled that back, saying it was an overestimate. An arrest has been made in a Danbury kidnapping cold case. WTIC's Morgan Cunningham.
Danbury police say this cold case concerns the abduction and rape of young girls in the Lake Ave area dating back to the late 1980s. They're now charging 53-year-old David Coffey with first-degree kidnapping. Police say that they spoke with one of the victims as part of a re-interviewing process last year. They also tried to use other investigative resources they didn't have access to 40 years ago. It was then that they were able to determine Coffey, who lived in the area at the time, was a suspect. He's being held now on a $750,000 bond. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
Former employee of the Ram School District is charged with larceny after state police say she took tens of thousands of dollars in school funds for her personal use. Under arrest is 56-year-old Christine Vardanian of Marlborough. An arrest warrant states that Vardanian, while working as a secretary in the Ram Central office, may have ordered as much as $45,000 of items over a 5-year period. A months-long investigation found Vardanian allegedly used an Amazon account belonging to the district to purchase over 800 items for her personal use. Vardanian now faces larceny charges. She's free on bond and due in court November 4th. Early voting getting started today in Wisconsin. Here's correspondent Natalie Brand.
It's the first day of early voting in the battleground state where polling shows the race a virtual tie.
We love voting.
Many states are reporting record early voting numbers with more than 19 million ballots already cast nationwide.
And striking Boeing machinists are voting on a new contract offer, which includes a 35% pay increase over 4 years.
We're the ones that make it happen, building the airplane, and they're still not recognizing the fact that they wouldn't be where they're at or be receiving what they're receiving if it weren't for us down on the floor building the airplane.
And Boeing reported a $6 billion loss in the third quarter. Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. And speaking of losses, a lot of them on Wall Street today. The Dow down 409 points, NASDAQ down 296, and the S&P off 53. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
CAM, an equal opportunity employer, is dedicated to providing broad outreach regarding job vacancies at our station. We seek the help of local community organizations in referring qualified applicants to our station. Community organizations that wish to receive our vacancy information should call Stephanie Gragan at 804-474-0010. In addition, all listeners are encouraged to visit Odyssey.com for an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let's get right to the phones, 860-522-WTIC, because, of course, they've been holding for a while, and I don't like when my callers are on hold. It's like keeping my family on hold. Let's go to Fred in Middletown. How you doing, Fred?
Hey, I'm doing good. So what's in the name White Mike basically ate my lunch. So let me spit the call anyway as a soundbite of what he said. So I was going to start with that I was calling to say two good things about Hitler. And the one great thing about him is, well, the best thing about him is he wasn't Stalin.
Right.
Who, as they say, no one's all bad except Stalin. There's a meme just to F with Christians' heads that if like 10 seconds before he died, Stalin accepted the Lord as his savior, you might run into him in heaven. It's like, no, Stalin cannot be in heaven.
Right.
The other thing is he was a great performer. Right up there with Donald Trump and Al Sharpton and so forth.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
he's a great performer, yeah.
It's interesting that, I'll tell you what I believe is going on with the Hitler thing, and it's tantamount to absolute sensitivity training. It's like you only hear the word, you don't hear the context. So Hitler eliminates everything, right? There can be no context at all. You said Hitler, bad. So I think that's what's going on.
It's the Queen of Hearts and the Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah,
In
man.
Closing, Hugo Boss. I used to just engorge on Nazi porn, and there was 160 different uniforms that they had for different occasions. Yeah, they had,
Really?
Yeah, 160 of them. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I was never, ever really, I mean, as far as World War II is concerned, Fred, I wasn't really, it's probably the one time in history I never really paid attention to the opposition. That may call me crazy. Thank you, man. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center and get another check of the traffic with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading on the southbound side of I-91, look for some slow traffic now as you move down by the Dexter-Coffin Bridge between 44 and the bridge. We got some road work in the left and left center lanes on the southbound side of 91. After that, you get a good ride till you get down into Hartford. Delays again, 34 down to 32 A and B. Northbound side 91 moving well, Cromwell up into Windsor Locks. And then when you get up into the area of exit 40 in Windsor Locks, you're going to see delays from that point up to the Dexter-Coffin Bridge with road work in the right lane. Now on the westbound side of 84, delays East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge up to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound's tied up just after 44 Prospect Oakwood down into the tunnel. 291 384 moving well. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound Waterbury tight. 23 up to exit 22 on the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Danbury slowing 3 to 5. Again, a little slow traffic. 84 eastbound by 11 in Newtown. South 95 a little tight. 46 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
It'll be mild tonight with increasing clouds as the front makes its way through. Breezy late with a stray shower, the low down to 56. Then for our Thursday, breezy and not as warm with clouds giving way to some sunshine. The high of 67. It'll feel cooler with a busy north-northwest wind cranking along at 10 to 20 miles an hour throughout the day, though. Sunny and cooler, less wind, though, on Friday, the high of 62. Saturday, partly sunny, breezy in the afternoon. Can't rule out a shower, the high of 63. Sunday, mostly sunny, cooler again, the high back to 57. And a cool start Monday, the high of 55 under mostly sunny skies. Right now, Bristol 74, Waterbury at 72, at 74 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Longing for thick, healthy, gorgeous hair? Say goodbye to shedding thin and dull hair and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com. Eagle Rivet is the company for HVAC and mechanical contractors looking to have new roof penetrations cut and patched. Eagle works closely with their mechanical contractor partners to ensure your roof stays watertight and under warranty. Eagle offers complimentary roof inspection to help avoid a costly roof replacement. Call Eagle Rivet Roof Service today, 860-953-1231, or visit them online at eaglerivet.com. Eagle Rivet is a proud sponsor of Rebuilding Together Hartford.
Men, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. It seems like everything we hear these days is about political races, and yet there's a far more important race that you run for yourself every day. It's the race to be the best you can be. But if your libido is low, if your workouts aren't productive, if you've got brain fog and you're tired all the time, you may feel like you're losing that race, and maybe even that your best days are behind you. But the truth is that they're likely not. Because if you're feeling like this, it's probable you're suffering from low testosterone, a condition that affects a huge percentage of men. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. We've successfully treated thousands of men for the condition, and if you're like most guys, you'll start seeing results in just a few weeks. Better sleep patterns, higher energy, improved mental clarity, more productive workouts, and your libido will likely increase as well. So get back to winning your race by calling us. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-5400. 4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS.
1 minute.
Tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into
Yes,
calling.
sir.
I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
We are back, and if you remember when I first joined WTIC, one of the things that I harped on over and over again was that not just that we couldn't trust the news media. That's a given. I didn't break any news there. But the one thing I said our biggest problem was that we were not holding the news media accountable when they didn't report the news that was relevant. See, the biggest thing, the biggest problem with our news media is not the stories that they cover or how they cover them. It's the stories that they don't. And I found this odd when I woke up this morning knowing a scandal like this would be the biggest deal ever in a state like Connecticut, all things considered. But the only places I could find this story were on national news networks like the Washington Times. And the only local newspaper I could find it was in another city and state altogether. And that story is about none other than Congresswoman Johanna Hayes. She has been in office, 3 terms now? And with everyone, including Johanna Hayes, running on climate change and the damage it does to cities and states, if not the world, when a town in her district gets devastated in the way that it did, that this woman would go to Chicago for the Democrat National Convention. There's no real reason for her to be there. She's not a star. She's not a celebrity. She's a congresswoman. You have 2 people dead. You've hundreds of millions of dollars in damage. And you go to Chicago. It's 5 days for the convention. People need you to be representing your town. Those are the people that you represent. Maybe a slither of your district, but it's still your district. They dealt with a devastating storm, devastating floods. 2 women were swept away by those floods, died. Sending a message while you party in Chicago is ill-advised, especially when we know that right now in 2024, we are running campaigns about who is working for the people. That's the theme Who's got your back? Who cares about the elites? Who cares about you? Who cares about the special interest? Who cares about you? Is the Democrat Party more concerned about its wealth and its elite status, or do they care about the average mom and pop? Joanna Hayes ends up in Chicago, then also ends up in Martha's Vineyard. For what? Somebody visiting the Obamas? Somebody going to a resort where there's caviar, champagne, oysters? While people are trying to rebuild? It's a little tone deaf. And then to find out, Hartford Current, no story. Why? Why is there no story? It's 2 weeks before Election Day. Everyone is clamoring about a story about people, no-name sources. We have documented evidence of thousands of dollars being spent lavishly by an incumbent, and no one's covering it. Not anyone, I guess no one locally. I got text messages by the end of the day, Reese, you got to cover this. Did you see this? And it just hit the wire. Everyone should have been on this. And I'm going to say something it's kind of cruel, but you get my meaning. This is Connecticut. As far as the news media is concerned, they're itching for a scandal. It sells newspapers. Otherwise, we're just covering traffic stops here. Let's be real. Let's be real. We're talking about the average on the foot, on the stump news reporter. I mean, they've literally got to look for news stories. Right? No offense to them. I mean, it's Connecticut. It's not a big city. Right? It's not big city politics. It's Connecticut. And I get that, and I respect it. But when you get a story like this, how are you not on it? You have a hurricane that actually got national attention. You've got a congresswoman who's in Martha's Vineyard and Chicago spending $13,000, according to Federal Election Commission filings, traveling to a Massachusetts resort. The storm cost over $206 million in damages, according to the Washington Examiner. Governor Ned Lamont declared a state of emergency. Richard Blumenthal described the damage as a gushing torrent of destruction. During that time, Joanna Hayes spent $6,384.91 at a Chicago luxurious Sheraton Grand Hotel. She then sent out a video and posted it on Facebook. Posted it on Facebook on the 21st. Sorry for your loss. Well, it says she expressed her condolences. Huh? Isn't that a condolence? Sorry for your loss. Why not get back there? Why not show up? No, there's nothing. The Washington, I'm looking at it right here. No, I'm sorry, this is the Washington Times. I apologize. The Washington Times has an article. I'm looking at other places. Connecticut Mirror, nothing. Nothing. No articles. Political attacks heat up in Connecticut's only story about Joanna Hayes was 3 days ago. Story broke yesterday. Nowhere. Where's this one? Is this what I think it is? Is this the newspaper of record that did an article? Nope. New York Post. No New York Times article. So are they covering it up, or do they just not care? I think they're covering up for her. I think that they're carrying her water. Lori says the only scandal they're looking at for Connecticut has to be anti-Trump, conservative or anti-Republican. I couldn't agree more. I'm just stunned that the newspaper should be on this. And if worse off, guess what? She doesn't have to answer to anything because no one cares. Keep it out of the local news. Keep it off what? Fox 61, nothing. News Channel 8, nothing. Keep it out. Don't even let her have to answer for herself or for her campaign at all. Now, if this had happened on the other way around, you know what would have happened. Oh, that's it. Campaign's over. I just find this very, very interesting. But guess what? Mark my words. What's tomorrow? Thursday? Tomorrow's Thursday? Who wants to bet it's in the paper tomorrow? Who wants to bet somebody writes a blurb about it tomorrow? Maybe the CT Insider? Maybe the Connecticut Mirror, maybe somebody, one person will write an article about it. I'll make this plea. Everybody get on the phone and contact any one of those people. And just say, hey, what's the deal? Johanna Hayes skipped out on her district during their time of need and posted a video sending condolences. We don't cover that here. That's not a relevant news story. During an election that's about us, the people, about her character. We don't do character anymore. We don't do stories about character anymore. I guess it's not important to those people. Some of them who lost everything and didn't have their representation there. The woman who was supposed to represent them didn't show up, stayed at a party to go hang out with Joy. Tara P. says, all mailings I received for George Logan are from out of state, the New York Republican Fund. It's a damn mess. Scott O. says, Trump's alleged love for Hitler is so awful and shocking, it took 4 years to share it. It sure did. It sure did. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, the Connecticut GOP. I don't know who's the head of the Connecticut GOP. I don't even know if that's the right people. I see them on X, on Twitter for that matter. I see them on there, but I don't even know if that's the real Connecticut GOP or is that somebody with that handle? Somebody is going to have to clear that up for me. But, yeah, nothing. Nothing. Maybe, you know what? Here's what I believe happened. In my heart of hearts, I believe that Johanna Hayes didn't care because they didn't look like her. In my humble view, I don't think that she could exploit the people of that region. I don't think that, right, you can't, if you can't sell that story with victimhood, right? Because, they tell us climate change affects people, I guess, on a racial basis. Right? They're always fighting for climate justice. She's one of them, those climate justice folks. And maybe the complexion just wasn't good enough to exploit. It's insane. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if any other story comes out of this. I bet you tomorrow, all of a sudden, the newspapers will be, or even the news channels, they'll be covering. Adam, you know what? Adam knows who I'm talking to. Adam, you guys need to get your press people on this and call them over at the network and ask them, why isn't this being covered? This is a huge scandal. Somebody in the press office for the GOP needs to be calling any one of these networks and saying, hey, what's the deal? We don't get fair coverage. If this had been Logan, they'd have been all over this. What are we ignoring this for? And get them on the record. Get them on the record. Tape them. And say, why aren't you covering this? The New York Post is covering it. What are they, the third, fourth largest newspaper in the country? If they're covering it, it's worth covering. They're out of state and they covered it. The Washington Times is covering it. Why aren't you covering it? Get them on the record. If you get them if you get them recorded as to why they're not covering, send that audio to me. We'll see if they change their tune. She's not allowed to get away with this. It's a joke. It's insane, the stuff that's going on. I don't even know how to take this. Anyway, when we come back, I had another story. Why did I don't even have my notes in front of me, so forgive me. I did have them. I put them down on the other side of the room. That's my fault. I'll grab them in a second. We got more news and more views to come up with. Don't forget, we got the 5 o'clock focus coming up. And, of course, your phone calls. So get them in when you can. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Oh, I know exactly what I was going to talk about, Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Jimmy Kimmel. Wait until you hear this audio. This, again, when I say they're pulling out all the stops, what Jimmy Kimmel has just admitted on MSNBC will blow your mind.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, let's
Great tease.
Yeah.
Who's going to leave? Who's going to leave now? Nobody's going to leave now after
No,
that
no,
tease.
nobody's going anywhere.
No. All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. If you are heading 91 southbound,
I'm leaving. How about that?
I know.
Forward on the 32 A and B, another bumped out by exit 28. A little slow traffic again, 19 to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Winter. On the westbound side of 84, you've got delays from exit 56, Governor Street up to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slows a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue. Down into the tunnel, a little tight again, 58 out to 59 in the 384 interchange. 291 eastbound's a little slow getting over the Bissell Bridge. 384 moving well, Manchester into Bolton. 2 eastbounds were a little slow by 5A in East Hartford. 9 northbound tight, Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 east and westbound moving well through Waterbury. If you are traveling into Danbury, 84 eastbound, some slow traffic 3 to 5. And if you're heading toward New Haven, 95 southbound, you'll see some slow traffic 46 to 44. Northbound side of the Parkway in New Haven, looks like some slow traffic as you move between exits, the West Rock Tunnel and exit 60. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
For quality vinyl siding, the Peter L. Brown Company is your best choice. Let us show you the difference a beautifully installed Peter L. Brown vinyl siding job can make. Please visit peterlbrown.com for roofing, siding, windows, and doors.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of the afternoon, partly sunny and warm, breezy this afternoon with the high of 78. Mild tonight with increasing clouds. It'll be breezy with a stray shower overnight, the low down to 56. Then on our Thursday, it'll be breezy, not as warm. The clouds will give way to some sunshine, that high of 67 with a busy north-northwest wind of 10 to 20 miles an hour. It'll feel cool. Friday, sunny, cooler, but less wind, the high of 62. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Still fighting that large fire on Lamentation Mountain in Berlin. By land and now by air. Helicopter crews have been dropping water on the fire that has so far scorched 87 acres. That's down from what they had previously said. They originally said it was about 125 acres, but they say they overestimated that number. Still in all, the National Guard is helping out with a Chinook helicopter as they try to secure the edges of the fire to keep it from spreading. Weathersfield volunteer firefighter Robert Sharkovich Sr. is being remembered. He died when the UTV he was riding while battling the Hawthorne fire crashed. 2 others were injured. His remains were escorted back to Weathersfield today by procession from the office of the chief medical examiner. Woman accused of stealing money from the Ram School District is facing charges. State police say Christine Vardanian stole over $40,000 for her personal use. She's charged with larceny and due in court next month. Police in Danbury say they've cracked a cold case involving the abduction and rape of young girls dating back to the late 80s. They're now charging 53-year-old David Coffey with kidnapping. Police say they spoke with one of the victims as part of the re-interview process. They also say they used other investigative resources they didn't have access to 40 years ago. New threat intelligence report from Microsoft says foreign adversaries have showed continued determination to influence the U.S. election, and there are signs their activity will intensify as Election Day nears. Wall Street, the Dow finished down 409 points today. The NASDAQ off 296, and the S&P was down 53 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Tom Shattuck here. It was about 2 years ago when I started Awaken 180 Weight Loss. It took me just a matter of months to hit my goal, down 80 pounds. I had been wearing size 48 pants, and by the time I finished my weight loss, I was fitting into size 38 pants. On day one, I told my coach I wanted to be able to take really long walks and maybe even jog again. And all that has happened. Not only that, but now I'm educated on how to eat right, but still enjoy food. And that's more important this season than ever. Halloween candy, Thanksgiving feasts, holiday parties these next few months. This all makes it easy to gain weight, but now I'm ready for it. There's a healthy way to do it all, and that's what I'm doing. I can't say enough about the ways Awaken 180 Weight Loss has changed my life. It's improved my marriage to the lovely Alice and allowed me to create memories with my kids through activities that I could never have done 2 years ago. My journey started with a phone consultation a couple of years ago. Start your journey today by calling 844-346-1800 or go to awaken180weightloss.com.
Paid for by government. Now,
1 minute.
fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan silver dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Americans treasure owning silver bars and coins, putting them away for themselves and their loved ones. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. You'll be glad you did. Hurry, don't miss out on this special deal. Save $10 per silver bar. The more you buy, the more you save. Limit of 25 bars per customer. Call to learn more. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan silver dollar. That's a $59.95 and free shipping. Call 1-800-222-3871 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan silver dollar bars. That's 1-800-222-3871.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. So I've been called out, and I'm going to say that I accept being called out. Why? Because I respect it. I respect it. Let me read you the comment in the chat room. By the way, you can join the chat room, too, if you want to call me out. And that's you, Libercrats, leftists, Democrats, insane people. Go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. So you can join us in the chat room on Facebook or on Twitter or X. And you can join us at Rumble as well. And I got called out. I respect this calling out. Craig says, come on, Reese. WTIC is supposed to be news talk. How about pushing your own people to actually do some journalism instead of regurgitating what Bloomberg says, Blumenthal says every day? Fair criticism. We have a job to do. And again, he's calling me out based upon the story with Joanna Hayes. So I'm going to send an email. I'm going to send one to Morgan Cunningham, my good friend. And I love Morgan Cunningham. This ain't on him. But I'm going to ask him, hey, perhaps we could get in touch with Joanna Hayes' office and see whether or not we could get some copy, and we could do it at the top of the news. Again, it's a big story. It's a Connecticut story, and it's an election story. I'm not calling it an October surprise, but it's an election story that should be covered. Fair enough. So, again, and I don't take it personally. He's absolutely right. I didn't even think of it. We should cover it. It's our job to cover it. It's, talking about what's happening across the country is one thing, but, we got to cover these news stories too. Not, like I said, don't get me wrong, though, Craig. Don't get me wrong. People may be avoiding it like the plague. They may be hesitant to cover this story. But Joanna Hayes has not responded to requests to comment. Now, there may be good reason for that. She thinks this will go away. The only way it goes away is if people don't cover it. So let's get to the bottom of it. It's probably just a small scandal, Sister girl thought she needed a break. Chicago, Martha's Vineyard, never been there. $1,200 dinner, eating oysters. Hey, girl trip. Who knows? But while your constituents are suffering in a state of emergency, $200 million worth of damage, it looks bad. and they know it does. I don't know. Again, maybe the scandal won't affect her at all. Maybe George Logan, who, by the way, I've talked to him once. There's probably a possibility he may not be as strong as people need him to be. But you got to seize on this. George, where are you at, with all due respect? You should be out there. If your people are listening, you should be calling up the show, making some news of your own. Let's get to the bottom of this. I don't know. Find it odd. When we come back, what Jimmy Kimmel said to Joe Scarborough on MSNBC. Stick around for that. And, of course, more news and more views. Let's get, again, another check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark. He'll be there in a second. We get there sometimes early, sometimes late, but that's okay. He'll be here.
What's up, Reese?
There he is. No, I was just saying. I know. I was going on a little bit. Anyway, it's up to you now. I'm done.
It's up to me. All right, I'll take the baton and we'll run with it here. And this traffic report is being brought to you by Cape Cod Fence. And if you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the southbound side of I-91, look for delays from 34 down to 32A and B. Another bump down by exit 28. Northbound 91, easy ride as you move from Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up. Approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound locked up about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 2 westbound slowing exit 4 to the 84 West merge. 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. If you are heading into Middletown, 9 northbound delays approaching Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. Westbound 84 slows as you move up on the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound is slowing 3 to 5 in Danbury. And a little bit of slow traffic again as you move up on exit 9 in Newtown, and again by exit 11 in Newtown on the eastbound side of 84. Southbound Parkway slowing 60 into the West Rock. Northbound Parkway slowing as you move by into the West Rock Tunnel up to exit 60 in Hamden. And 95 southbound New Haven slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Traffic brought to you by Cape Cod Fence. More than just fences.
Cape Cod Fence Company in Canton has been Connecticut's premier fencing contractor since 1956. Quality craftsmanship, products that last for years, and the local team known for expert installation. Check us out at CapeCodFence.com. Cape Cod Fence Company.
WTIC weather.
It'll be mild with increasing clouds tonight. Breezy with a stray shower. The low down to 56 overnight. Then breezy and not as warm with clouds giving way to sunshine on our Thursday. The high of 67 will feel cooler with that busy north-northwest wind throughout the day. Sunny and cooler but less windy on Friday with the high of 62. On Saturday, partly sunny, breezy once again. Can't rule out a shower with another front making its way by. The high of 63. Then cooler on Sunday with mostly sunny skies. In the wake of the front, the high of 57, mostly sunny Monday, the high of 55. Currently, it is 74 in Danbury, New London at 66, 74 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Remember, for all station contest rules, go to WTIC.com/rules.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
The days are winding down for 2024. With that turn comes the end of your yearly benefits. Columbia Dental reminds you to use them or lose them before they disappear. If you haven't had your teeth cleaned lately, now's the time. 1 day, same day, 7 days a week. ColumbiaDental.com.
Hey everybody, Scott Haney. It's finally fall. Here at Connecticut Lighting Centers, that means big savings. Check out their Quizell Fall Sale brochure for incredible savings and an unbelievable selection of items.
Now, if nothing catches your eye in the brochure, take advantage of their 15% off coupon, valid on almost everything else throughout their stores and online.
Come experience the savings here in Hartford or in Southington, or shop 24/7 at ctlighting.com featuring Quizell.
The Connecticut Broadcasters Association has announced the winners of their first ever CBA Awards, and WTIC News Talk 1080 walked away with some hardware. Voted Best Morning Show in Connecticut, Brian and Company. Voted Best Radio News Reporter, Morgan Cunningham. Congratulations, Brian, Matt, Joey, Mark, Bob, and Morgan. When you wake up with WTIC News Talk 1080, you're waking up with the best in Connecticut. It's true. We're not just saying that. WTIC News Talk 1080, the best way to wake up in Connecticut.
Uh-oh.
1 minute.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-837-5050. That's 800-837-5050. 800-837-5050.
It is your girl, Cammie. And I want you to know that when I listen to the radio, okay, I listen to Reese on the radio.
We're back. Reese on the Radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Now, I've talked to several liberals on this network over the last going on 3 years. Can you believe that? Damn, it's going on 3 years here at WTIC. Wow, I'm actually not just thought about that. I was like, wow, we really that long? Anyway, I've talked to plenty of them. And in my life, I've talked to them. And whenever you use the term TDS or Trump derangement syndrome, they will be defensive. I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. I don't have that at all. And they get more and more animated. But I don't think they're going to do it anymore. I think that they are comfortable with recognizing their mental disorder. And Jimmy Kimmel is one of the few who are openly admitting it. And he admitted it to another man who over the weekend admitted it himself, Joe Scarborough. Listen to Jimmy Kimmel from Jimmy Kimmel Live on ABC.
Optimistic person. I'm not hysterical. I laugh when people say, oh, you've got Trump derangement syndrome. If you're a reasonable person, you should have Trump derangement syndrome.
Now, let me tell you why that is significant in all of this, okay? Listen to the last line Jimmy Kimmel says in this piece. Listen very closely, because I'm going to take you back to another episode of Reese on the Radio. Listen again.
I'm an optimistic person. I'm not hysterical. I laugh when people say, oh, you've got Trump derangement syndrome. If you're a reasonable person, you should have Trump derangement syndrome.
Do you know who used the argument, if you're a reasonable person? Who famously used that term, reasonable person, with regards to not liking Donald Trump? This one's going to blow your mind. The son of Ryan Ruth, the second man who tried to assassinate Donald Trump. His son, before he was arrested for child pornography, when he was interviewed by the UK Daily Mail, he said, my father hates Donald Trump like any reasonable person. Can you, when I heard it, I went, what is, but I figured it out, folks. I figured it out. That's what gives them license. They think this behavior is reasonable. This is with reason to hate him. It's normal. How crazy is that? When you ask yourself, why do psychos do psycho stuff? Crazy people do crazy things. The thing that we don't understand is, to them, it seems reasonable. No sane person says that their behavior, their erratic behavior, is reasonable. No one does that. When a sane person recognizes when they're over the top, when they're being too extreme. That's what a normal person does. But when people start using the word reasonable, nah, they're justifying bad or ill-advised behavior. Back to the phones we go. 860-522-WTIC. 860-522-9842. Hey, Ralph. Ralph's in South Carolina. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon, Reese. I hope life's treating you well. A couple of things. First of all, the story is told, and everybody's aware of this. When they had the illegals that went to Martha's Vineyard,
yeah,
how long did they last with the elites?
Well, less than 24 hours. They were on a military base.
There you go. And if I'm not mistaken, Barack Obama's got a $15 million house right there with like 10 acres and that plenty of room to put them up.
Sure does. And it's funny because the brilliant part was, Ralph, they were put up there during the off season for Martha's Vineyard when everybody is away. Right? So there's nothing but vacancies all through the town.
Sure, they had plenty of room. And that just shows what kind of people they really are. And you listen to Barack Obama talking to young black men. Here's a guy who has 4 multi-million-dollar homes, one in Hawaii, one in Washington, one in Martha's Vineyard, and he's going to tell you about living middle class and prices and everything else.
Oh, I'll go one step further. Try this on for irony. Here's Barack Obama telling black men that not voting for Kamala Harris is misogyny. Then Barack Obama, why didn't you let Hillary win in 2008?
Well, the thing, too, with Barack Obama, and I've said this before and I'll say it 1,000 times, he's talking about brothers. He's not a brother. His mother was as white as snow. He's a mixed race.
You know what's my favorite part about that?
Tens of thousands.
You know what's my favorite part about that? You know what? Somebody said like Barack Obama's mother is so white. And I heard this on sort of the Chitlin circuit of comedians. They said Barack Obama's mother is so white. Her name is Stanley, and like everybody in the room got it. It was like, damn, like his mother's got a white guy's name. That's how
you never hear him talk about that. But one thing too, and I think this is really important in Connecticut, Reese, Republicans never win. That's why they don't have money to run campaigns.
Yeah.
And that's the fault. That's the fault of the people in Connecticut because they'll vote for a Democrat, and his name could be Adolf Hitler, and they'll vote for him.
Sure enough,
and if you remember Nancy Pelosi, I think it was in New York, she said if you put a glass of water and ran it with a D after its name, it would win.
That's right. She's
100%.
That's exactly what the state of her party she's turned them into. 100% right.
And that just goes to show you the intelligence of these people. They
Indeed.
have no idea where anybody stands. It's a Democrat. Well, I'll vote for him because, gee, I don't want to vote for a Republican.
Exactly.
Well, my message to the people of Connecticut is give them a chance. See what they do. If they don't produce, then you throw them out. But you could be pleasantly surprised.
You got it. Thank you, Ralph. Let's go to Bill in Wethersfield. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm a happy Republican in Wethersfield.
All right.
And I have two things. You have one with Joanna Hayes, and your ad says that she sponsored 11 bills in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
And what's George Logan done? And so I've called up her office a couple of times saying, well, how many bills did she sponsor when she was a state rep?
Yeah.
You got to compare, what you did as a state rep because that's what George is running for. He was a state rep.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been to Congress yet, so it's like he can't even. And then the other one that we unfortunately just had a volunteer fireman die in a brush fire out in Berlin, Connecticut. And finally, I used to be a fireman up in New York, a volunteer fireman, and as I go to my lady, I said they should be a drop bucket for off a helicopter.
Yeah.
And I want to know why Governor Lamont didn't get, the hell of the National Guard in fighting that fire sooner.
I don't think that he knows. I don't think he knows what he's doing there. I really don't.
Well,
I think there's a strong possibility he may not know what to do.
Yeah, but well, I don't know.
No. Hold on. Let me hear me out though. Do you notice that the Hartford Courant doesn't have any big story on it? Did you notice that?
Well, there again, those stories, that was the point.
Yeah, no,
would say, well, the important stories against the Democrats always are done on a Saturday when no
Right.
one's reading the paper.
Right, 100% right. That's why I find it odd that, we all know that this fire is happening. Everyone is like, I'm seeing everyone from the freedom fighters on X everywhere talking about it, making sure that everyone's okay. News media, like we're covering it at the top of the hour, but nothing. I find this very, very odd.
Right.
It's very, very odd. Thank you, Bill. Let me get the date. Let me get the
Yep.
Dave in Bransford, sir. Hey, Dave.
Yeah, how you doing, Reese? It's evident that the theme of the week in the electronic media is that the president-to-be is going to be a fascist dictator. And so I want to comment on a piece of news I saw yesterday that Biden has issued a new rule from his White House that the White House says health insurance needs to fully cover condoms and over-the-counter birth control. That's the story.
Yep.
So by the stroke of his pen, the White House has decided that methods like condoms, the morning after pill, and birth control pills for free under a new rule the White House has issued. And you say, what authority does he have to do that? Did he negotiate with insurers?
Nope.
It destroys the capitalist model. Why would it, when I was younger, we'd buy the $3 for $5 condoms.
Uh-huh.
Why would anyone not take the most, the $12 job with the ultra maximum and the fingers and the ribs and the moon grade lubricant, and what the other thing is, why would they even lock them up? If they all get stolen, we just bill the insurer for it.
That's all.
It destroys the business model, and you just wonder why does Xavier Becerra?
Javier Becerra.
Why wasn't this subject to congressional discussion? What kind of effect will this have on the market? Do we have the legal authority to do it?
You know what's going on with this. With this, this isn't something that the campaign or the administration needs to tackle in any way. It's like they're just look. What else didn't we touch? We're about to close up shop. Let's just throw anything out there and put out a press release. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. I almost feel like creating an issue so that they stay in the news cycle. I don't know. Other than that, I don't know why.
I just want to emphasize that stuff about, the fascist dictator. Who is the fascist dictator?
Yeah.
That's their mode. Accuse the enemy of doing what they're already doing.
Indeed. That's why I did my monologue yesterday about what are you afraid of. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Speaking of which, talking about that, that dictator line that Dave just brought up, you heard Joe Biden talking about 5 years ago. If I had said, lock him up, you'd say that's crazy. But, that's what we need to do. We need to lock him up. Remember that? I don't know what that is. You might have to hang up, sir. What he said, we have to lock him up. Well, Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about that today. Listen to this nonsense. Again, the president of the United States says we got to lock him up. But not according to Karine Jean-Pierre.
What did the president mean when he said last night about Donald Trump, we got to lock him up?
So look, and the president spoke about this very clearly as well in his statement, and he said he meant lock him out politically, lock him out. That's what he said, and
he said lock him up.
That's what we have to do. That was the part of his quote that he said last night while he was in New Hampshire. Look. Let's not forget, this is a president that has never shied away from being very clear and laying down what is at stake.
Okay, you know what always bugs me about this? About the president has always been very clear. Bigger lies, or I should say lesser lies have been told in that one soundbite. He has been very clear. Have you heard Joe Biden speak? No, never mind. He was very clear. He's never been clear, dear. He's never been clear. That's all she keeps saying. We are very clear. No, we're not.
In this election, I'm going to be really mindful and not speaking about 2024 election. That's just less than 2 weeks away. But this is just speaking to what the president said last night. He made very clear yesterday that he was referring to defeating Donald Trump. That is what he was talking about. He said politically lock him out. That is what he was referring to.
Well, he first said twice, lock him up. So
And then
lock him up, he meant defeat
well, it's not
Donald
what I'm saying. It's what he said. He said to the he right, exactly. He clarified himself. He wanted to make sure that things were put into context.
Yeah, because he screwed up and he realized that he screwed up and he had to straighten it out. Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Mark K says 3 years at TIC and still a fill-in. Love the show. Thank you. That's okay. That's all right. Hey, I don't mind. I'm getting in where I fit in. Craig says, yeah, TIC needs to put a ring on it. All right. Okay. We get it. I appreciate you. Put a ring on it. I mean, no offense, TIC. I am available. Just teasing. Let's get into another check of the traffic with Mark Christopher at the BPS Traffic Center. And everybody say goodbye to Roland. He's out of here. He'll be back tomorrow, I assume, right? Roland, you'll be back tomorrow?
No, he will not be. You'll have.
Oh, what's up, my buddy? Joey's in the house. Joey Burgoyne is in the house.
The beard's in now?
Yeah,
the beard?
It's nothing. It's the beard is in, and I've got the beard. It's a bearded Wednesday on WTIC.
Wow.
Now let's get to the Mark Christopher BPS Traffic Center. Indeed.
Put a ring on it. Oh, my goodness. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now.
You're there, sir.
Thank you.
From exit 30.
Yeah, tomorrow will be me, Friday, Justin, then me Monday.
Okay, you got it.
Down to 32 A and B. And again, 27 down to 28. You'll see another bump, 21 down to 20 as you move down into Middletown. Looking good, 91 northbound, Cromwell through downtown, up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up, approaching the Bulkley Bridge, up to exit 47. Sigourney Street, 84 eastbound. You got delays about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. East of the river, a little slow out by 59. We had an earlier accident on the right shoulder there. Looks like they've moved that out of the way. 291 eastbound, slowing I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 eastbound, some slow traffic between exit 5A and 5C in East Hartford. If you are traveling into Middletown, you're slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. If you are traveling into Waterbury on the westbound side of 84, a little tight, 22 into the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, some slow traffic, 26 down to the 691 interchange. 84 eastbound Waterbury, Danbury slowing 3 to 5. And again, 84 eastbound delays 10 to 11 in Newtown. Southbound on the Parkway, you're slowing from 60 into the West Rock Tunnel.
Let me know if Barbara's going to stay on.
Okie dokie.
Exit 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth from Money Wisdom. Tune in this week and every week to gain a better understanding of taxes, retirement income, and long-term care. The Money Wisdom, Saturdays at 8:30 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of the afternoon, partly sunny and warm, breezy this afternoon with the high of 78. Mild tonight with increasing clouds. It'll be breezy with a stray shower overnight, the low down to 56. Then on our Thursday, it'll be breezy, not as warm. The clouds will give way to some sunshine, that high of 67 with a busy north-northwest wind of 10 to 20 miles an hour. It'll feel cool. Friday, sunny, cooler, but less wind, the high of 62. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 72 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. As state National Guard helicopters dump water on the large brush fire in Berlin, crews say the fire is smaller than originally estimated. Here's WTIC's Dave Mager.
The fire has now burned about 87 acres. That's down from an earlier estimate. State Fire Control Officer Michael Cronick says crews have a box around the fire, and that's keeping it from spreading and keeping it away from nearby homes.
We have homes within 50 to 100 feet of the fire. I am confident we will be able to keep it away from the homes in that location. I have a extensive hose lay set up there with sprinklers to pre-wet the area, and we've been doing that for a couple days, knowing that was going to be a challenge.
The Connecticut National Guard now has 2 helicopters scooping up water and dumping it where the fire is burning hottest. Cronic can't put a timeline on when the fire will be out. He says some crew members will be out here for weeks putting out hot spots. In Berlin, Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
The body of Wethersfield firefighter Robert Sharkovich Sr. was brought back to his hometown today from the office of the chief medical examiner in Farmington. People lined the streets to witness the procession of emergency vehicles making its way to the Farley Sullivan Funeral Home. Among those on hand, Ron Kendall.
Just was an upstanding guy. What you see is what you get with Bob. Robbie he's always had a smile for you and a laugh. He just was a class act.
Audio from WFSB. Eversource officials monitoring the situation. Officials with the utility say they're keeping an eye on the electric transmission lines and equipment that's not far from the fire scene. Eversource has been conducting aerial surveys on 3 of its high-voltage power lines. There have been no issues to this point with regard to power, but Eversource Connecticut President of Electric Operations, Steve Sullivan, says they have plans in place to redirect power to other lines if the need arises. The election's less than 2 weeks away, and a story on former President Trump's character took center stage today.
This is a window into who Donald Trump really is.
Vice President Harris outside her D.C. residence. More from correspondent Natalie Brand.
The Trump campaign is pushing back against a New York Times interview with the former president's chief of staff, John Kelly.
It certainly falls into the general definition of for sure.
The retired general also said Trump demands loyalty to himself over the Constitution, and in response to Trump's recent comments about using the military against domestic opponents, Kelly said advisors repeatedly told Trump not to do that. A Trump campaign spokesperson dismissed the interview and told the Times Kelly had, quote, beclowned himself.
The Postal Service wants to reassure voters that absentee ballots mailed on time will be secure and delivered.
Postal Service officials say they've made significant investments to ensure ballots are secure,
including installation of new high-security collection boxes, electronic locks.
Brendan Donahue is the agency's assistant inspector in charge. He says the Postal Service is working with law enforcement agencies to protect the mail and employees and elections officials from any possible threats.
That's CBS News correspondent Peter King. Wall Street, the Dow down 409 points today. Markets down overall. NASDAQ lost 296 and the S&P was off 53 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
We hear a lot from our patients after we've successfully treated their erectile dysfunction. But one thing we hear the most is, why didn't I get treated sooner? This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're suffering with ED and all the emotional and relationship problems it causes, don't wait. Call us today. ED is simply a medical condition like any other. And for most men, it's fully treatable, which means you can get your sex life back. And I'm not talking about sex that's just okay, by the way. I'm talking great sex, with the ability to enjoy intimacy without the anxiety
30 seconds, bud.
Men who have ED. In fact, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. In Northeast Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've treated thousands of men with protocols that are successful.
What's wrong
in well
with
over
sex that's
90%
just
of cases.
okay?
And we have
and then my tombs.
You. So stop waiting and call us. Your first visit includes
What are you
blood work,
trying
a
to
medical
say?
consult, and a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. 5 o'clock focus, folks. Last hour of the show, we do the 5 o'clock focus, 5 o'clock focus. Let me break this down for you, okay? Now, I had 2 cars in my life that I loved. I had a 1983 BMW 325i. I loved this car. I bought it for $1,500, okay? My next car was many, many moons later. I mean, I'd driven other cars, but my next car, did I say my car, that I bought on my own was a 2013. I bought it in 2016, but 2013 Nissan Altima 3.5 SL. It was another one, 3.5 SL, right? I bought that car, $15,000, 16 actually. Bought that car, loved it. Thing had over 220,000 miles when I finally gave it up. And the reason why I gave it up wasn't because it was a horrible car, but it had some things that had to be fixed, that it was going to be a lot of money, like $2,500 to get something done or something fixed. And I knew it wasn't going to pass inspection unless I got it done. And it had gotten really, really bad that certain things were just falling apart on the darn thing. And so I waited until like I couldn't take it anymore to give up the car. And I didn't buy another car afterwards because my wife had a car, and we went from having 2 cars in the family to having 1. Now, I'll admit I'm probably not going to buy another car for a while. I'm just going to keep my wife's car. And if I buy another car, I'm going to have a complete serious windfall, or price is going to have to come down before I do it. My question to you in the 5 o'clock focus is, what is the thing that you would let get down to the bare minimum, to the point where things are falling apart? Like, literally. And it could be a car, like you're holding things together with a bungee cord. Whatever the case is, what would you wait until the last minute to go buy? Because either it's too expensive, it isn't worth it, whatever the case is. What is the thing that you would wait until all hope is gone for that thing before you purchase it again? Or will you just go without? 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Guys are different because guys will just fix the cars on their own. I don't do that stuff, okay? I think that we created an industry of mechanics so that they can do the work and I can pay for it. I'm not getting under the hood of any vehicle. I'm just letting you know that's who I am. I'm not, nothing about getting my hands dirty. I'll get my hands dirty, but I don't understand cars the way some gearheads do. Joey, are you a car guy? I'm assuming he is.
I had a feeling that question was
coming.
coming.
Yeah, you had to know it was coming.
Yes.
Are you a car guy? Or are you just
a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got a classic Volkswagen we restored. Actually, was working on that today a little bit.
Okay, but what's the thing that you would wait until the last minute that had to fall apart before you? Because you're an audio guy too, so you got a lot of gadgets and stuff like that.
That's a tricky one. I'm also, as my wife would say, the same person that like buys something that I don't need.
See, I do that too, but it's got to be pointless. Like I can spend $50, right?
I'm the impulse guy.
Mark Christopher's in BPS Traffic Center. Mark, would you wait until your car was down to bungee cords holding the door before you bought a new one?
Let me see. 2 cars ago, I had a Honda Accord. I bought it new in '94. My other car before that was like a Datsun 210.
Datsun?
Datsun. Before the Nissan name was used. I would drive down the highway, and the headlights would go off, and I'd have to pull over. I didn't have a dome light at that point, and I'd have to pull a fuse out of the glove compartment, stick it in so the lights would go back on. There was nothing left of the seat. There was a spring popping through the seat.
Wow.
And there was even a hole in the floor. So it was weird because when I bought my Honda Accord, and this would have been 1994, September of 94. And you could, like, it was weird driving it for the first time because it was raining that day and I wasn't getting wet. It was so weird. But finally with the Nissan, an ex-girlfriend, we had a rough night the night before. She had a lot to drink and she got a little sick all over the car. Said, you know what?
Now I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah, she finally put the final nail into that car. So there you go. So yeah, that car went for 19 years, about 250,000.
Whoa!
And it didn't owe me a thing.
19. Wow, that's a long time to not give up.
Now that I'm talking about the Honda Accord now, and this is my second car since the Honda Accord. So.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how I run my cars into the ground.
See,
and
that's
I'm like you. I don't go under the hood, but
I'm not touching that thing.
And this car, I get it detailed every year, so it actually looks pretty nice. And the good thing about this car, one more payment, big.
Oh, there you go, buddy.
A couple of weeks, and then I own it, baby. I get the title. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, this traffic report is being brought to you by Stu Leonard's. We're seeing an accident now. Southbound 91 by exit 37 on the right shoulder. Use caution there. Slowing again, 33 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 down to 28. If you're northbound 91, looking very good from Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound delays about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. A little slow as you move between 58 and 59 in the 384 interchange. 291 slowing from I-91 over to the Bissell. 2 eastbound's a little tight as you move between 5A and 5C in East Hartford. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 north again tight by 32 in Berlin. 84 westbound Northbound is slowing from 25 up to 22 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound, some tight traffic as you move into Danbury, as you move between exit 3 and 5. And then you'll see some more slow traffic in Cheshire as you move between 26 and the 691 interchange. Southbound 91 slows 3 in toward the 95 interchange, and 95 South New Haven tight from 46 down to 44. This week, Stu Leonard's has 2 great deals on the Stu's app. Their mighty beef porterhouse steak are only $9.99 a pound. You save $5 plus. Fresh, all-natural whole chicken legs are only 99 cents per pound. That's half price. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. Mild tonight with increasing clouds. Breezy lay with a possible stray shower. The low down to 56. Breezy, not as warm for Thursday. Clouds will give way to some sunshine. The high of 68 will feel cooler with that north-northwest wind at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Sunny, cooler, less windy Friday, the high 62. Partly sunny, breezy Saturday afternoon. Can't rule out a shower right now, the high of 63. Cooler in the wake of another front on Sunday. Mostly sunny, though, the high 57, and mostly sunny, the high back to 57 on Monday. Right now, Mansfield at 70 degrees, Granby 73, 72 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
This October, Odyssey and Hartford Healthcare Cancer Institute are teaming up to save lives. Your donation can help provide free mammograms for women in need. Donate at lightthemonthpink.org. That's lightthemonthpink.org, because every gift makes a difference.
Brought to you by True Law. SickVets.com.
I'm NBC Connecticut's Kevin Nathan. Last year, more than 1,000 care packages were sent to our military overseas. Let's make this year's Boxes to Boots even better. Join Comcast, NBC, and Telemundo Connecticut. Help send packages to our troops this holiday season. Go to NBCConnecticut.com/boxes to boots, shop online, or make a monetary donation, or drop items in person at any participating Xfinity store.
Boxes to Boots is brought to you in part by WTIC News Talk 1080.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation.
1 minute.
P. Morgan Chase Bank and
Got it.
FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this? Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service.
Here we go.
And the Ad Council.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. Reese on the radio. We are back. News Talk 1080, WTIC. A lot of people spend money on things that are very important to them, and I get that. But some things that you buy, you wait until, like, that thing is literally the wheels are falling off. It doesn't have to be a car. You just won't buy it. Washing machine. My wife and I have a washing machine. Actually, someone gifted us a washing machine. And it was, front loader, very high, advanced, beautiful washer and dryer. They only had it for a couple of years. We got it in a divorce. And then, we've had it for a couple of years now, and my wife says, I think it was a dryer, doesn't dry as well as it used to. She hasn't complained about it in a couple of weeks. Maybe she figured something out. But she said, I think we might need to get a new dryer. And I didn't have a problem with it. We got this one for free. But she hasn't mentioned it, and she is riding this one out until it doesn't dry anymore. If she put clothes in it and it comes out wet after an hour, then we have to suck it up and get a new dryer. But she's not doing it. So I thought, what are those things that we will wait until it completely is on its last legs and puttering before we change it? 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Bob in Newington. How are we doing, Bob?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm all right, sir. What do you got?
Well, first of all, I drive my cars until they die.
They've got to be on the road, right? On the road, puttering, left in the middle of the highway.
Yes. When I'm done with them, they're ready for the junkyard.
Right.
And I get every single dollar I can out of them.
And is it as a guy, is it because buying a car is so expensive, you have to go through that hassle of having to look for a new car, a new fit, or is it because you become so familiar with the vehicle, you just can't let it go? Is there something personal in it? I feel like it's personal.
The personal thing is, I want it to die on me. The thing is I fix it as long as I can, as long as it's economical.
Gotcha.
To fix it.
Yeah,
when
once it starts getting
economical to fix it, it's time to get rid of it. It is ready for the junkyard.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, what's the one? I think my tell, my go-to is when somebody tells me, and the mechanic goes, "It needs a new transmission." I go, "Keep it. We're done." As soon as they say that, I'm done. We're out of here. I know what that costs. I know what the labor costs, and I know how long my car's going to be gone. Never mind.
Now, it's only good for what good parts might be left on it.
Exactly. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate you. Robert is in Cheshire. Robert actually wants to chime in on Johanna Hayes. Robert was one of the people who hit me to that story. I know you wanted to chime in on it. What's going on, Robert?
Well, good afternoon, Reese, and thanks for bringing that up. When that all happened, when Johanna was out partying on our tax dollars in Chicago, and said she couldn't get a flight back from Chicago, my golden handcuffs are typically with Southwest, so I went to the Southwest website. Mm-hmm. Lo and behold, every single day of the week, 4 nonstop direct flights from Midway in Chicago to Bradley. Every day. And you're going to tell me that a congressperson couldn't have her staff call up to any airline and say, "I need a seat, get me back"? She's just flat out lying, and that is just one example of it right there. She is without, and what I'm watching with her right now is exactly what I see going on with the National Democratic Party, which is, of course, exactly all she is a representative of the National Democrat Party.
Indeed. And with every scandal, right? It's never the scandal, it's the cover-up. The fact that she says she couldn't get a flight back was nonsense because that storm didn't affect, or at least the after effect of the storm didn't affect, it was literally a flash flood through that region. Everybody was able to fly. There were no stories about how no one could get in or out of Bradley. There were no stories at all. No stories.
Yeah, or White Plains or Albany or a couple of other places, God forbid, Newark or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Worst comes to worst, you fly into LaGuardia, you're a 2-hour ride home.
Yep, exactly. So, she is completely disingenuous. She said she would go and represent the district, and she has voted 95, 96% of the time with Biden and Harris. Mm-hmm. And she has no, in all the virtue signaling she does, the letters that I see in the Republican American in support of her are coming up out of Salisbury and Litchfield. And I take a look at who's writing it, and they're usually dowagers in their 80s.
Wow. That's incredible. Like I said, someone's going to cover it. I think that in and of itself, I think the biggest scandal is the fact that she lied about whether or not she should get home. And this is a scandal-rich story that everyone should be covering. And as Craig pointed out, even this network, we should cover it. And we should get to the bottom of it. So thank you for that, man.
For doing that, and thank you, Reese.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
And thank your wife as well for getting in touch with me when she did. Mike is in Plainville as well. How we doing, Mike?
What's the topic of the 5 o'clock focus?
Topic of the 5 o'clock focus is, what is the thing that you own that you let get to its last legs before you spend any money on buying a new one?
Everything. T-shirts, sweatpants, cars. I got an 05 Chevy, and I'm going to keep it. The baby, I drive less than a mile. My commute is 0.8 of a mile to work.
Really? Why don't you just walk it?
I have in the winter when it was too bad to drive.
Right. Okay, because if that's the case, just walk it. But my wife let me read what my wife just said, Mike. You're gonna love this one. My wife, Roseanne, says, I keep my husband until he's on his last legs before I get a new one.
Hey, your wife sounds like a drill instructor. She was in the Army.
Yes. You know.
She a tough lady? Is she as tough as you say she is?
Yes, she is. And she is absolutely. She is a pill, I will admit. She is a pill. I keep my husband until he's on his last legs. I'm going to stay. You know what? This is the reason why I'm working my butt off to stay in shape. She's not running me down. Forget about it. That's not happening.
I'm a lot like my father. My father used to keep old sweatshirts. He'd cut off the sleeves. He'd keep old sweatshirts and sweatpants. So it's genetic.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. That's exactly. I think you're on to something. Do you know that's
genetic?
That's the first thing my wife.
All the habits, even your social views.
My wife.
Your views on race. Your views on religion, I think they're genetic. I really think everything's connected.
They may be. My wife has actually started buying me a lot of sweatpants, too. I think that's another military thing that she's doing.
You're going to look like an old man. Don't walk around.
I'm trying to make sure that she says now, she goes, she's not trying to keep me fit. She's wearing me down. She could try.
I'm sitting in my car right now, and I'll tell you what, this car's got almost 200,000 miles on it, and it's like, I don't need a new car.
Yeah, you know what? I felt that way about Red 5, my car. I called her Red 5. I felt that way about Red 5 when she hit 200,000, and she finally felt like she was mine. I had the title before she even, I think it was like 180,000. I finally got the title of her, and it felt like home. And then when she hit 210,000 miles, I knew it was over. And It was a giveaway. No, I have to tell you this story. This is a great story. I'm going to tell you about my car. This is a great story. You'll love this one, Mike. Try this on for size. So I had the key fob. My car was a 2013, as I said, 2013 Nissan Altima 3.5 SL, right? So this was high-end.
Yeah, I know the car.
Okay, so this car, in order to replace the headlights, it was like $150 per light. It was the luxury version of the Altima. So when we were finally at the dealership and the guy had told me he was going to give me $1,000 for the car, I was contemplating giving it up, and I was literally going to say no. And the key fob that I owned for the car was old. It was beat up, and a button was missing. That's how old it had gotten. And none of the key fob didn't work for anything. It had an automatic start on the key fob that had ceased to even work. And I finally said to the guy when he offered me $1,000, you know what, let me go outside and go think about it. And I took the key fob and I pressed the button and nothing worked. I said, see whether or not the thing would start. It didn't work. And then I did this. I hit the trunk button, a button that hadn't worked in a year. And the back of the trunk opened up with all of my stuff in it. And that was the message that I got. Okay, it's time to go. Like the trunk opening up said, clean out your stuff. You're giving her up. And it was the only time it had worked is when the trunk opened. And what does the trunk signal? For me, it says, grab your stuff. You're leaving. You're going home. And I took all the stuff out of it and I walked in and I said, yeah, here you go. And I gave him the keys. That was because it never worked. That key fob never worked. And when it worked in that moment, that key fob was telling me it's time to go. Yeah, it's time to go.
Hey, you know what I did today? I voted. And I'll tell you what, I did my job. I felt like I just got out of boot camp or training camp. I'm going to turn off all the news until Election Day. That's it.
Wow. You know what? That's a great idea. That's a great idea. If I could do it, I would, but I can't. So, and I'm kind of addicted.
I'm going to go back tonight. Tonight's going to be Lost in Space and Land of the Giants, TV series from the 60s.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, buddy. Good luck to you. Bushwhacker,
thanks.
you got it, sir. Bushwhacker is in the chat room. He says, new things don't last long as the older stuff. Most things aren't made as well as they used to. I don't know exactly who we're talking now. You're right. I totally agree with you there. My wife says that the Red 5, my Nissan Altima, she says that car smelled like gym socks and the fob didn't work, but the sound system was fire.
I was going to say, Reese, we actually have audio of when the car was open the trunk. It was amazing how the radio just auto-tuned itself for you.
Yeah, you know what? This is the thing. When I got that car, Joey, the guy told me that it did not have standard equipment in the car, like the speaker system. It was a Bose speaker system in the car. It was so good. People, when I drove down the street, people would get in my car and it was just like, the system in this car is fantastic.
Nowadays, kids are like, what's that?
Yeah, but it was, here's the thing. If you look this up, this shows how beautiful this car was. It was a 3.5, a 2013 3.5 Nissan Altima, cherry red. And it was beautiful. I didn't even want the red car. I wanted the black Maxima, but the guy said, "No, you want this one." And I
sold you.
And yeah, he said, "You got to take this car." And I took it and I got in. And the one thing he sold me was the key fob. And he says, "And this one has automatic start, so when it's cold, you could just point the thing and hit hit the button twice, and the car will start for you." And that I fell in love. Oh, that's right. And it had seat warmers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She loved that car. My wife loved that. That was the selling point when I got with Roseanne. The first time she drove in my car, I said, the seats have seat warmers. She goes, "I think I'm going to marry you." That was my selling point. Let's get another check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. I bet you didn't have any seat warmers in your Datsun, Mark Christopher.
No, I had springs though.
You had springs.
Springs and foam. That's what I sat on.
Your
That
seat
spring
warmer was a
uncomfortable.
small fire burning
That's
underneath the car.
Yeah, that was just from the electrical system blowing up. Yeah, that car was amazing. I mean, that was the ultimate urban assault vehicle. I would just pull out in front of people. I'm like, go ahead, hit me. I don't care. What do I care?
You people are dangerous on the road, by the way. When I see a guy drive by and his car's completely blanked up.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
As soon as I see that guy, I go, get away from him.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, he just doesn't care. He'll pull out in front of anybody to get ahead. Hey, if you're heading in
You're clear.
You're on the southbound side of I-91. We do have an accident up in Windsor, and that is southbound just after exit 37 on the right shoulder. So use a little caution going through there. After that, slowing 33 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 to 28. A little slow traffic again as you move down by exit 21 in Cromwell. Northbound side 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. If you're traveling westbound, 84 delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound tied up a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. If you're 291 384, that looks good. 2 eastbound's a little tight by exit 5C in East Hartford. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 northbound again a little tight as you move up on exit 31 in Berlin. If you're traveling into Waterbury, westbound 84 a little tight from 26 up to 23, and again from 22 into the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Danbury slowing New York Connecticut line out to exit 5. Again some slow traffic 10 to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway delays 62 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 91 southbound delays New Haven 3 and toward the 95 interchange. 95 southbound New Haven slows from 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Are your feet stopping you from being active and making it difficult to get healthier? Trade in your bad feet for good feet. Wouldn't it be nice to work, walk, and play pain-free again? If you're having similar problems, find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com and visit us today.
WTIC weather. Well, the rest of today, partly sunny and warm. It'll be breezy this afternoon, the high of 78. Mild tonight with increasing clouds, breezy with a stray shower, the low down to 56. On Thursday, breezy and not as warm. The clouds will give way to some sunshine. The high of 67, made to feel cooler with that busy north-northwest wind cranking along at 10 to 20 miles an hour throughout the day. Sunny, less windy, but cooler on Friday with the high of 62. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Red flag warnings are up across Connecticut until 7 this evening due to the high fire danger brought on by the bone dry and windy conditions. Crews remain at the scene of that fire on Lamentation Mountain in Berlin. It has scorched just under 90 acres. They scaled that back, said earlier estimates. They overestimated, actually. But the crews are attempting to fight that fire by air. Chopper brought in from the National Guard. A Chinook helicopter has been dumping water on it today. And they expect to do that tomorrow and even be out there for the next several weeks hitting hot spots. It's about 75% contained at this point, but those hot spots could flare up at any moment, so they'll be out there for the next few weeks at least. While all this is going on, the memory of Wethersfield firefighter Robert Sharkovich Sr. is not far from the thoughts of those on the front lines and in the community. He died when the UTV he and 3 other firefighters were in crashed on Tuesday as they responded to the fire. Flags are at half-staff across the state. Sharkovich was a retired Hartford firefighter, spent many years in the capital city there. He also worked for the Wethersfield School District as well. Eversource officials say they are monitoring the situation around the mountain. There are several high-voltage lines not far from the scene. The utility says it has the capability to redirect power should the need arise. Former school employee in the Ram District in Hebron is facing larceny charges. State police say Christine Vardanian allegedly stole over $40,000 for her personal use. She's now free on bond due in court in November. Suspect's been arrested in connection with a 1989 cold case abduction in Danbury. 53-year-old David Coffey has been identified as a suspect and is charged with first-degree kidnapping. Wall Street, the Dow lost 409 points today. The Nasdaq shed 296, and the S&P down 53 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Tom Shattuck here. It was about 2 years ago when I started Awaken 180 Weight Loss. It took me just a matter of months to hit my goal, down 80 pounds. I had been wearing size 48 pants, and by the time I finished my weight loss, I was fitting into size 38 pants. On day one, I told my coach I wanted to be able to take really long walks and maybe even jog again. And all that has happened. Not only that, but now I'm educated on how to eat right, but still enjoy food. And that's more important this season than ever. Halloween candy, Thanksgiving feasts, holiday parties these next few months. This all makes it easy to gain weight, but now I'm ready for it. There's a healthy way to do it all, and that's what I'm doing. I can't say enough about the ways Awaken 180 Weight Loss has changed my life. It's improved my marriage to the lovely Alice and allowed me to create memories with my kids through activities that I could never have done 2 years ago. My journey started with a phone consultation a couple of years ago. Start your journey today by calling 844-346-1800 or go to awaken180weightloss.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be
1 minute.
They try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS.
30 seconds.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. We're going to get to your phone calls in a second in the 5 o'clock focus. For those of you who are just joining us, 5 o'clock focus. What is the thing that you will wait until the last legs before you purchase something new?
I can't even say I do anything with them. It's my old shoes.
Really? So you'd wait until there are holes in them?
Oh, I still wear them.
You do?
They become like lawn mowing sneakers, and I got like 9 pairs of them.
I don't get rid of any shoes. I'm a Melda Marcos at this point.
Yeah,
I have way too many.
I'll get, usually when we go shoe shopping, it's like 5 or 6 pairs at a time. And my wife's like, you're going to get rid of the other ones? Oh, yeah, sure, no problem. And they just kind of get tucked in the back corner. Because I'm like, well, I can't wear the new ones to mow the lawn or it's raining. So yeah, I have like 6 pairs of lawn mowing sneakers at this point.
Exactly. Tara says, our washer and dryer were my parents, but we don't want new ones because they don't last that long. Besides, my husband is handy and has replaced all the parts inside. Now, I tried to do that with the dryer. Like, I had to change the doors because when we moved, the doors all swung, they swung, I should say, one way. That was convenient. When we moved to the new house, we had to put them on opposite sides because of where the water hose and stuff is in the home. So I had to switch them around, but the doors had to be changed. And when my wife told me we got to change the doors, it took me 3 weeks before I could do it. I just didn't want to do it because I thought I was going to screw it up. And
I'm waiting for our stove to finally go. I know that sounds ironic. I'm waiting. So it's going to be the last appliance we will ever need to replace.
Really?
We bought our house. We didn't have natural gas.
Gotcha.
Since then, we have gas hookup in our house. So I want a gas stove. So my electric stove will never die now.
It won't. It
won't. It's going to outlive us all. That thing's going to be in the Smithsonian.
Can't you just sell it?
I know. I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. Go out with dignity.
Yeah. I don't even know whether or not they sell, because I feel like there's been such an assault on gas stoves that people are buying more gas stoves and not buying electric. Other people who are environmentally, those people that will buy the electric stove, and I feel like you might be able to sell it to them. But I get the gas stove thing. My mom and my grandmother, all of my grandmothers have always lived by that. I remember the first apartment I ever had that an electric stove, and everyone looked at me like I had farted. It was like, ew, you gonna cook on that? I'm like, it's a stove. It's electric. I thought it was awful. Let's get another check at the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Gas or electric, Mark, or do you not care?
Oh, we have a gas stove here.
All right, don't brag.
Nice. No, cooking on gas is night and day. You know that.
Yeah, I know. My wife gets on me all the time about it. Yeah.
Rub it in with your gas stove.
Right.
You know what? The guy that does our appliances for us, he said, hang on to that Maytag dishwasher. That thing's 26 years old.
Yeah?
He goes, you ain't going to find anything like that anymore.
And it's 26 years old, you still have it and still use it?
Yeah, and Jimmy, the guy who does our Jimmy Cobb is our appliance guy.
Yeah.
And I always ask Jimmy, like our dryer finally went earlier this year, and he said, you know what, I would think about replacing it, and all I say to him is, okay. I said, if Jimmy Cobb had this situation, what would he do? He goes, I'd buy a new dryer.
So he's your go-to for if you're going to get a new one or just have it fixed.
Right.
Ah.
Right. And he recommends Speed Queen because they have the same design as the commercial ones in the laundromats. They use a lot of them use Speed Queen, and he says the parts are readily available. So he always goes. So I said to him, well, what kind do I get? What kind of we replaced our washing machine with a Speed Queen, and go, what kind of a dryer? He goes, definitely get a Speed Queen. They hold up.
Yeah, they'll last forever, especially if they're comparable to this laundromat ones.
I mean, they're heavy duty. So, and that's what he told me. And then he said, so I go, well, when the washing machine goes, when the dishwasher goes, he said, well, get a Bosch. I think they're called Bosch. So.
Yeah. I know the
just
brand.
Listen to him. I go, Jimmy, what would you do? And whatever he says, I go for.
Jimmy's making household decisions for Mark Christopher.
Jimmy, but I trust him because that's all he does.
Well,
he works on everything.
He's got to start a consulting firm now.
He really does. He really does. Jimmy Cobb, the great Jimmy Cobb. Thank you, Jimmy. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, and you're on the eastbound side of 84, we got delays about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84, you got some slow traffic now approaching the Bulkley Bridge, and you're tight out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Southbound 91 slows 33 down to 32 A&B, and again from 27 down to 28. Northbound side of 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. 2 westbound's a little slow as you merge at 84 West and East Hartford. 9 northbound, you got slow traffic Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. If you're heading 84 westbound into Cheshire, slow traffic approaching 26 to 25. Again, 22 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Danbury, look out for an accident between exit 3 and 4 on the eastbound side of 84. You got delays back to the New York, Connecticut line. After that, a good ride into Newtown. Southbound Parkway slowing from 62 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 91 southbound delays 6 into the 95 interchange, and 95 southbound New Haven slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Mark the Shark, 96.5 TIC traffic control.
WTIC weather.
Hey, Joey, what's a good place that we can
mild
hold
tonight
an
with
event?
increasing clouds,
Like
breezy
some
with a stray
place to,
shower late,
you know,
low down
that
to 56.
we're
Breezy,
cool
not
with
as warm
in
as
the
clouds
in the
give way
area.
to some sunshine on our Thursday.
I'd say Wooden Tap.
Cooler with a busy
Wooden
north
Tap,
northwest.
okay.
Yeah, on the Berlin Turnpike. We've done some stuff there. They got a decent little room in the back.
Then
Okay.
partly sunny, breezy
Do-
again on
do you know what the
Saturday.
capacity
Can't rule
is?
out a shower at the high of 63.
No, off the top of my, I mean, we held their Christmas party there last year, so.
Oh, did you?
Next
Okay.
week, mostly sunny Sunday, the high 57.
That had to
and
be at
Monday,
least, what,
mostly
50
sunny, the
people?
high
Yeah, yeah.
But
Okay.
right now,
All right,
Meriden
I'm just thinking of
72,
like something,
Waterbury
nothing
68,
too
it's
grand, just
72
something like
in
everybody
Hartford.
can
I'm
go to, sort of as a
meteorologist Jason
public place to
Caterina
hang out.
in the
So-
W
Yep.
Weather Center.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45
Brandon, that's
past
getting read
every
on the
hour,
air.
Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
If you're looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, we're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. Prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Call Term Provider.
that James in
at
Windsor?
800-337-4168.
Maybe it's just on the phone screen. It's James in Connecticut.
Oh, just James in
Buying
Connecticut.
a home
Okay.
is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Before you tour a home, the real estate professional you're working with may ask you to sign a buyer's agreement, which describes the services you'll receive, each party's role and responsibilities, and how your agent will be compensated, all of which you'll want to discuss with them up front. So work with an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors with a duty to honestly represent you and put your interests to...
Hold on a minute.
Because that's who we are.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan Silver Dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Americans treasure owning silver bars and coins, putting them away for themselves and their loved ones. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. You'll be glad you did. Hurry, don't miss out on this special deal. Save $10 per silver bar. The more you buy, the more you save. Limit of 25 bars per customer. Call to learn
Michael
more.
A. said to
Plus,
ask you
with
about J.
qualifying orders,
Timothy's
you'll
in
receive a
Plainville.
free Morgan.
Yeah, they have a room upstairs.
Okay.
We don't do much with them, but
Okay.
it's another option.
Okay.
222-3.
It's like 2 miles from the station.
Gotcha.
Or 1-ounce Morgan Silver Dollar bars. That's 1-800-222-3871.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're about to get out of here.
It's 5 o'clock.
Oh, there it is. Sorry.
Yeah, Roland already set everything up, so.
All right, we're gonna get into the 5 o'clock focus. I'm gonna take the phone calls, but before we go, I gotta answer an email that I got. So please don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for that. I'm gonna answer these calls and then I'm gonna read this email from Michael W. You don't want to miss it. It's not long, but it's good. All right, Craig is in the car. How we doing, big guy?
Hey, Mark Christopher, if you're keeping your crap long enough to have a quote-unquote appliance guy, you might want to think about upgrading.
But you know what? At least his appliance guy isn't trying to sell him something. So as a consultant, it's a good, in essence, his consultant should make a couple of bucks off of it. He should say, hey, I can tell you all the stuff that you should buy and whether or not you should just get it repaired.
Well, apparently he uses his appliance guy enough to give him a free promo on TIC. Jeez Louise.
Well, he's an appliance guy who doesn't have a consulting firm, so it's not really a plug.
So I'm kind of like I have a public service announcement I want to make at the end of this. So please give me the time to do that. But I'm very similar to Joey, except my thing is the socks and not the shoes.
Ah.
So I have a sock thing. I have a job where I don't wear a tie, so my status symbol of choice is socks, and I'll wear those things until my toes are poking out in 3 different places.
Oh, my wife won't let me do that.
Don't know why. I have 100 pairs of socks, and I wear 8.
Do you, wait a minute, hold on. Do you take the sock when they have the hole in it and tuck it under and then stand on it?
No, I'm not that desperate.
Okay, so you just let the toe go through the hole?
Oh yeah, and then my wife throws them out, and I go, "Where's this one sock?" She's like, "Well, your toe is poking through." I'm like, "Yeah."
So I'm assuming you're talking like dress socks, Craig.
No, they're like I buy when I travel. I buy them in different countries, and they're different. Yeah, they're
so they're novelty socks.
The way I get around like majority of that is in the summer.
Yeah.
All the socks I wear are the exact same socks. I only wear low-cut Adidas socks.
Yep, me too.
So, I can throw one away, and I'm like, I've lost a sibling. I got more to go.
Right, because there's no right or left on them. There's no right or left.
Unless you're my dad.
I got to bring it full circle, and this is how screwed up our generations are. My grandfather, he was a fly fisherman, and he would wear a flannel shirt until the shirt wore out.
Wow.
And then my grandmother would cut the pocket out of the shirt, and he would put his fly reels inside the pocket, button it up, and store them.
Huh.
I still have them.
That's
to this
genius.
Day. That was 75 years ago.
Now that is genius, and that's a good, again, see, there are some great recycling things that you can do with old stuff.
You find out how to make it work. So my public service announcement is, look, if you're listening to Reese and you're streaming and you're not in the car, don't do it on Odyssey. Do it on his Facebook page. You get to hear all the behind the scenes with Joey and with Roland, and that is worth the price of admission right there.
What? Just because of the stuff we talk about, the stuff we talk about behind the scenes?
All the uncensored stuff.
We appreciate the endorsement. I appreciate you. I, on the other hand, do not use foul language behind the scenes, just so you know. All right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to Larry in Bridgeport. How you doing, Larry?
Good, Reese. Thanks for taking my call. Reese, I just wanted to, I don't know what your thought is, but, former General Mark Kelly came out and made a statement about Trump. I just want to give my opinion, okay?
Yeah,
my opinion is he must really hate Trump. I mean, let me just mention a
Go ahead. No, you mention it because I can tell you real quick. You mention your thing, and I'll tell you why Kelly did what he did.
So this is my deal. My deal is when I think of great military leaders, George Marshall, Douglas MacArthur, Eisenhower, Schwarzkopf, okay, they would never come out with a comment, pro or con, and they would never get into politics. Okay, they had too much class. They wouldn't get into politics. They wouldn't interfere 2 weeks before an election. They just wouldn't do it. Okay, and you can read memoirs of Eisenhower and Marshall. Even Schwarzkopf writes about it. And I'm turned off by it. Okay, I think it's unprofessional. I think it's just so wrong because you're interfering in an election and you're telling. You and people like General Milley are telling everybody Donald Trump's this boogeyman. And I'm not saying I like Trump. I'm not saying I'm voting for Trump. But to me, it's so unprofessional. And yet, when I look at what's going on around the world with all the wars and conflicts, and I feel like saying Mark Kelly or whatever, John Kelly, you were part of the invasion of Iraq, where there were no weapons of mass destruction, and I'm just.
Can I tell you why?
Opinion.
Can I tell you why he did it?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me tell you why he did it. It's real simple.
Go ahead.
The same reason why Liz Cheney, the same reason why Mitt Romney, the same reason why every one of these Republicans are coming out of the woodworks and saying as many horrible things as they can about Donald Trump and going completely against their own best interest to celebrate Kamala Harris, because it's good ink. It is good ink. It is reputation saving. They know that the liberal media, they know that the leftist media runs the roost. They rule the roost. And this gives them an opportunity to be in good standing with those folks when they need to make money, when they need to sell books, when they need to promote their next speaking engagement. They do what the news media needs them to do. And they, again, in kind, this is all transactional. That's all it is. It's all transactional.
It's just offensive. It's offensive to me as a citizen, as a taxpayer for many years. And it's just offensive to me. I don't want to hear from Elon Musk. I don't want to hear from Bruce Springsteen. To me, all I'm saying is, in the case of a person who wore a uniform for 40 years or whatever, and you were a general commanding people in combat, if you follow some of your predecessors, okay, they would never do that.
Yeah, and again,
they
but
did that.
It serves their own self-interest, because again, you're looking at the end. He's not saving Kamala Harris's bacon by doing this. The only person who benefits from this is Kelly. Kelly's doing this to in essence, an apology tour to save his own name. I'll play the audio later on, but I'm going to get out of here. But I appreciate you waiting on me, Larry. No problem. Let's take James in Connecticut before I read this email. How we doing, James?
Hey, how are you, Reese? How you doing today?
I'm good, sir.
I just wanted a simple question. Sorry to distract from everything you guys are saying, but don't you think that global conflict and war could increase global warming if it's such a thing?
Do I believe that it will increase global warming?
I mean, if you're having war around the world and everybody's fighting and blowing stuff up, don't you think that would probably increase the global warming?
No. In fact, I'm almost positive that it won't. Because, again, look, I look at this argument about global warming as a completely different there's so many mitigating factors in all of this, but I wish that, you know what? I'll tell you this, James. If I could, I would discuss this with you. So I'm going to invite you back tomorrow. Call in early, not at the end of the show, and I promise you I will dedicate some time to this.
That's great. There's a guy called Patrick Moore that explains that actual global
I know
warming
exactly who you're talking about. Trust me, these are one of my areas of expertise. That's why I want to spend some more time with you, but I promise we'll do it tomorrow. Okay? Let me play this. Ryan Godersky talking about on CNN about the Atlantic story real quick before we read the email. This is what he had to say on CNN.
Well, in the clip you showed, he didn't praise them. He just called Xi smart, which is the only praise he gave them.
Well, it's not an insult.
It's not. Okay, well, it's not. But it's not praise either, which is what you said it was, which it wasn't. But according to the Jeffrey Goldberg article, which we talked about this entire night, you can't trust that article because the quote, 60,000 for an effing Mexican funeral, the only two on-record sources both said that he didn't say that. The only source is an anonymous source, and the family of the deceased soldier said that he was lovely to them, and in fact, they voted for Donald Trump today. That's how much they disagreed, and they said it was a disrespectful article that politicized the death of their loved one. And Jeffrey Goldberg did not care about printing something that they had no sources on the record for. And I, honest to God, like most Americans, do not care about General Kelly's farewell tour where he tries to make amends for working for Donald Trump since Democrats.
That's all it is. Making amends to the American people for working for Donald Trump. That's all that is. Let me read the email. Hi, Reese. I was listening to the show today where you seemed elated that Jimmy Kimmel was using similar phrasing as the second Trump assassin's son, as if to say, naughty you, Jimmy. We caught you saying and espousing ideas and language similar to another bad guy. I wasn't, but nice try. What are your thoughts on Trump using similar charged language like the enemy within or people poisoning the blood of our country, knowing that Hitler infamously used phrasing and ideas like this? Infamously used phrasings like this. Well, let me answer you real quick in the last 2 minutes that I have on the show. Let's start with saying that there were people who are, the enemy within. Marxists and communists, sir. Marxists and communists are the enemy from within. If you believe that that's charged language, unwarranted to communists and Marxists, whose core goal is to destroy the country from within. We know that's their role. There's no meandering about what they represent. They hate this country and they wish to destroy it. They are the enemy from within. So do I have a problem with him using it? No. And what I said about Jimmy Kimmel is that I found it odd that people would use the word reasonable about behavior that is a derangement. He's saying he has a Trump derangement, and it's reasonable for you to be deranged about him. Only psychopaths reason with their psychosis. Only psychopaths. So that's what I find similar, that he would use the same language. Any reasonable person hates Donald Trump. Any reasonable person has Trump derangement syndrome. It's like saying a reasonable person is a psychopath. It makes no sense. So no, I don't have a problem with Donald Trump saying that there are enemies within the country when he's talking about Marxists and and communists. Also, people poisoning the blood of our country. He's talking about sex traffickers and murderers. You don't think that poisons the blood of our country? Sex traffickers and murderers? You think you hate Donald Trump so much that him calling MS-13 a bunch of animals is a bridge too far for you? Well, we better not call them that. They're God's children. Please. Please. We call that apples and oranges, simply. We got to go. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. I'll be back here tomorrow, and I love it. Like I said, liberals, all of you, I love you. You got to call. You got to send me a message. I'll respond. I don't want to go around here and be hanging out with everybody else. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Reese on the radio, and he is Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. We'll see you next time. Good night, Mark.
All right, Reese, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. And if you're heading into...
all right, sir.
Thank you. I'm getting all these messages. Anyway, you'll be here tomorrow, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, no problem. I'll make sure that I get you...
good ride down into
he's already got the promo in there, I think, right?
Downtown up in Windsor.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, I'll send you... I don't need to send you another one. I'll send you one tomorrow before the show.
All right, cool.
All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
If you are traveling 291-384, that looks good. East of the river, 2 eastbound's okay. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury's a little slow, 84 westbound, 26 up to 25. And again.
All right. It's been a great. Oh, thank you. Lord, thank you. You guys are nice. You're very kind. You don't have to be this nice. I really, really love that. Thank you, Simon. Love the USA as well. You guys are fantastic, and thank you so much. And thank all of you. Sokolowski, you too. Thank you all. And we're going to get the location before I get out there. So we're going to do something fantastic where everybody could just hang out. I don't want to make it a big thing, but I want to kind of do it a public thing where we'll all hang out someplace and we'll all sit, drink, joke, have fun, tell stories and things like that. And it'll be a great thing. So I really hope that you guys will join me when we do it. I want to make it either Thursday or Friday. I don't want to interfere with anybody's schedule. I want to do it on a day that everybody can show up. I don't care if there's a line outside the door. I want to fill up a place and just have some fun with you guys, even if it's for a little bit. So thank you guys. I really, really do appreciate you. You know how much I love you. And I don't say